Public hearing is, are we on, David? Yep. Good evening. This is a public hearing. Oh, it's legal affairs?
No, I thought it was Gary's.
No, that's okay. This is a public hearing scheduled for 6 o'clock on 56-26. Brandon Robbins, Counselor at Large, is requesting amending Section 13-77, stop signs by inserting Linda Street, northwestbound drivers at Lincoln Street. As I said, this is on for public hearing. My name is Pauline Cormier. I'm the chairwoman of the Legal Affairs Committee. I'm joined here this evening by the other two members of Legal Affairs, Eladia Romero, the Ward 1 counselor, and the counselor to my right, David Cormier. To start us off, I'm going to open this up to the petitioner, Counselor Robbins, to give us a little background and the reasoning behind this petition.
Yeah, absolutely, Madam Chair. So I was contacted by a resident with a list of issues, and this was one of them on it. I went up there, took a look at it. I preemptively also talked to the traffic division, and they took a look at it. And basically, there was some concern about kids playing in the neighborhood, and if a car whips through, it could result in something bad. So we decided to go ahead with a stop sign petition to just kind of make sure people are safe.
Okay. Any other counselors have anything to add to that? Okay, I'm going to open this up to the public. Is there anyone here this evening that would like to speak to 56-26, either in favor of or against? For a second time, is there any members of the public that would like to speak to 56-26, either in favor of or opposed? And for the third and final time, any members of the public that would like to be heard regarding 56-26, either in favor of or opposed? Seeing none, I will just briefly state for the record that we did send this out for referrals. We did get a referral back from the DPW that said that they had no issue with this petition. Also, we received word back from the Leominster Police Department, and they had the same recommendation that they had no issues with this recommendation. So I'll go back to the City Council. Is there anyone in the City Council that would like to be heard regarding petition 56-26? Okay, seeing none, Madam President, I would ask that unless my committee has another opinion on this, it would be my opinion to close the public hearing. Is 6:05 p.m. This is a public hearing on 58-26. Susan Shalafo Zephyr, Counselor at Large, and Brandon Robbins, Counselor at Large, petition to place no parking signs at the top of the rear driveway at 52 Mechanic Street. Again, as we just did, I'm going to open it up to the petitioner or petitioners in this matter, so you can give us a little background on what your thinking is with this petition.
Thank you. I was approached by a business owner who rents space in that area, and it's very difficult pulling out if you have cars parked on Mechanic Street that are really blocking the view from when you're trying to take a turn out of that driveway. So I was approached by one of the business owners, and that's why I put the petition in, along with Council Robbins, I think. Same story.
Yeah, same story. The only thing I'll add, just kind of for some context, the DPW has also come over and painted some no parking lines in front of the driveway, so this is just kind of an additional measure.
Okay. I'm going to open it up to the public. Is there any members in the public who would like to speak in favor of or against petition 58-26? For a second time, is there any members of the public who would like to speak either in favor of or opposed to 58-26? And for a third and final time, is there any members of the public that wish to speak in favor of or opposed to 58-26? Okay, and as the counselors at large pointed out, we did receive information from the DPW that they report having no issues with the petition as filed, and the same for the traffic division from the Leominster Police Department. They have no issues with the petition as filed. Having said that, I'm going to open it up to the council. Is there any counselors that have any questions, concerns, statements?
I do have a question. Just quickly for clarification purposes and I guess transparency purposes, 52 Mechanic Street, is this Jenny's?
No.
It's not. Okay, no, I wasn't sure.
It is, but it's not. The driveway it's impacting is not Ginny's driveway.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a driveway on both sides of the building, and this is the one that's further away from downtown.
Okay, so this property's not related to Jenny's. I just wanted to make sure there's no conflict of interest here.
The request is absolutely not related to Ginny's.
Okay.
No, it was made by a business owner in another section of the area.
Okay, great, thank you.
I will just put in that I travel this several times a day, and I know how difficult it is to get out there, so I think it's a good safety measure, so I'll just throw in my 2 cents.
Thank you.
Okay, no other counselors have any questions or concerns? If it's okay with the members of my committee, I'm going to ask that the public hearing be closed, unless I hear any objections from members of my committee. Madam President, I would ask that the public hearing be closed.
I was going to read the email. Now 6:10 PM. I'm going to open the public hearing on petition 57-26. My name is Counselor Carrie Noseworthy. I am the Chair of Public Service. I'm joined this evening by the Clerk, Counselor at Large Sue Shalafu Zephyr, and third member at Large Counselor Brandon Robbins. Now I'm going to read the petition. So again, petition 57-26, Massachusetts Electric Company doing business as National Grid, requests permission to excavate the public highways and to run and maintain underground electric conduits, together with such sustaining and protecting fixtures as said company may deem necessary, in the public way or ways hereinafter referred to, and to make the necessary house connections along said extensions. Said underground electric conduit shall be located substantially in accordance with the plan filed herewith marked, Mechanic Street, Manning Avenue, and Central Street, Leominster, Massachusetts, Plan Number 309-39008, May 18th, 2026. The following are the public ways or part of ways along which the underground electric conduits above referred to may be laid. Mechanic Street, Manning Avenue, and Central Street, National Grid is installing underground conduit and cable from manhole 5373 on Mechanic Street to manhole number 5583. National Grid is installing a new manhole number 5580 on Central Street. National Grid is also installing underground conduit and cable from existing manhole number 8 to manhole number 5580 into the property of 13 Central Street. I am going to quickly, before we have someone here tonight, Mohammed from National Grid, I'm also just going to quickly read into the record an email received on May 22nd from the mayor. Good afternoon, councilors. On Tuesday's agenda, there is a National Grid petition for Manning Avenue, Mechanic Street, and Central Street. This is conduit and duct work related to the Manusnock Brook project. Currently, utility lines run across Manusnock Brook from near the Rollstown Bank parking lot to Manning Avenue. This line will be relocated to a more appropriate location underground. In addition, National Grid will be updating their underground system in the area while the Manusnock contractor is working in the road, and so the road and sidewalks and parking lot will not have to be torn up anytime in the near future. As you know, the Manusnock Brook project is a complex project with many moving parts. It would be much appreciated if the council could schedule the public hearing and approve the petition as soon as possible so that the Manusnock Brook project can stay on track. If you have any questions, please feel to reach out. DPW will plan on attending the night of the hearing. Thanks, Dean. And with that, excuse me, I know we have a representative from National Grid. If you could come up to the podium and just kind of give us an update on the project at hand. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Mohammed Al-Rifai. I am a distribution.
I'm so sorry to interrupt. Can you see if that microphone is on? Perfect. If you
closer.
could just, yeah, thank you so much.
I'm a little too tall for it, I think.
I think that's it.
My name is Mohammed Al-Rifai. I am a distribution design engineer with National Grid. I'm the designer for this project. And like as you explained earlier, the main focus is to remove a conduit crossing over the brook. We are working with the DPW in order to make sure everything's on track. Also, the conduit and manhole systems will also help improve reliability in downtown Leominster. We have a couple adjacent projects where we're installing switchgears in the area, and so this will overall give downtown Leominster alternate feeds, improve reliability, and then also remove the bridge structure or the brook structure. So.
Great, thank you so much. As of right now, I don't have any questions because I've been monitoring this project, but I appreciate what you have explained and what the mayor has explained. I'll open it up to the other members of the Public Service Committee at large. Yes, go
Thank you
ahead.
very much. Thank you very much. So the lines are being relocated?
Yes.
And they're also being upgraded?
Yes. So we'll be installing new cable.
Okay.
So.
With increased capacity?
Exactly. Increased capacity, so it'll be thicker cable, and these cables will be tying into switch gears, like I said earlier. So it will handle all the load within the area, and This new conduit will also have spares in it, so that in the future, if we have to upgrade the cables once again, we already have spare conduits within the manholes, so all we have to do is open the manholes and just pull a new cable.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Third member?
I'm all set. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Is there anyone else on the council, before I open it up to the public, that has any questions or anything that they would like to add? No? Okay, great. So with that, I will go to the public to ask if anyone would like to speak for or against petition 57-26. For a second time, I'd like to ask if there's anyone from the public that would like to speak for or against petition 57-26. And for a third time, I'd like to ask if there's anyone in the public who would like to speak for or against petition 57-26. Seeing none, if my other subcommittee members are in agreement, Madam President, I think we can close the public hearing.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mohammed. Thank you.
Okay, continuing right into 50-26. While I read this in, if there's representatives here from the Spanish American Center, if you'd like to come up and just take a seat at the table here while I read this in. This is, again, my name is Pauline Cormier. I'm the chairwoman of the Legal Affairs. With me on Legal Affairs, actually, we have Councilor Romero, who needs to abstain.
I am going to be recusing myself, yes.
And the counselor to my right, David Cormier. This is 50-26. The Spanish American Center requests to amend the zoning ordinance of the city of Leominster, Massachusetts, to change the boundaries of the zoning districts shown on the zoning map so that the parcel identified as parcel 2 on Assessor's Map 39 containing approximately 0.23 acres according to said map and having an address of 132 First Street shall be located entirely in the Business BB district. This matter had been on previously for public hearing. It was continued on to this evening's agenda. So, welcome. If I'd like to turn to the petitioners first, and you can explain to us the purpose behind this and what your intentions are. I would ask you to, I had a couple of questions, so I'd ask you as you're presenting it to keep a couple of things in mind. Is basically what the goal is, what's keeping you from fulfilling this goal at this point, and what this change in zoning is going to allow you to do, which you wouldn't normally be able to do. So with that, if you wouldn't mind just introducing yourselves, and you can begin your part of the presentation.
All right. For the record, Chris Anderson with Hannigan Engineering. So we're here before you tonight for a proposed zoning change. The Spanish American Center utilizes 132 First Street as, I believe, a kitchen area at their primary location, which is allowed use by right within the BP district. They also own the adjacent property at 112 Spruce Street. The property at 112 Spruce Street is effectively split zone between the RC and the BB. It's the intent of the applicant to further utilize, further utilize the Spruce Street property in a similar fashion as the 132 property. Reverse it, sorry. The 112 and
So the
utilize
one-
112 as the 132 effectively, which would require us to expand the BB districts.
To the 132.
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry, I got the numbers mixed up.
No, that's good. Can you tell us a little bit about the proposal, what it looks to do? I know that there's an existing structure between the two properties now. Is the plan to utilize that existing structure, or are additions, add-ons? Can you explain a little bit about that?
My name is Nelly. Thanks for this opportunity. It's been 32 years that I came in front of the city council. Okay, so I wanted to say that right now what we need is to expand, services for our food pantry, and we need to do something. we are working on this plan for now for a while. And to continue serving the community, we need to build a new food pantry.
Okay. Yeah, it's my understanding that you're currently doing that out of the basement of 112. And this, what you're proposing to do is a building, it's a structure between the 112 and the 132, correct?
That's correct, that's correct.
Okay. Now, you're not taking down that building, is it looking just to expand on it?
That's correct.
Okay.
That's what we are going to do.
Okay.
That's
And-
the plan.
And you purchased the 132, correct?
Yes, we did.
Okay. And that, the 132 you utilize now as well?
Yes,
So that whole backyard area behind the garage, barn, shed that's between the two properties, correct?
yes.
Okay. Okay. Can you tell us how many people you serve for the?
We service like 25 daily, like from Monday to Thursday, and close to 100,
Families
yes.
Per week?
Families, yes.
every week? And that's basic supplies, food staples?
Yes,
Okay. And having this up out of the basement in this garage, or this outbuilding, let's call it, this is gonna be able to, it's just gonna make things easier for you, correct?
we're gonna be able to serve more,
Okay.
and we deserve better. Right now, we are a basement, and we deserve a better place, and we have the capacity.
Okay. And now, across from 132 is the self-storage building. It used to be the old Milik building, correct? So that whole side of the street is that old factory and that parking lot, correct?
Yes.
Yep.
So anything that you choose to do in that building really isn't gonna have any effect on anybody
No.
in the neighborhood? Okay. There are some houses, a few, past the 132 address, and they were sent notice of this hearing, correct?
We spoke to some, and there is no opposition. They have not come to us to say that, we cannot do this. As a matter of fact, one of the girls work at the center. She is the owner of the tenement.
Okay.
And then the next, tenement is a Puerto Rican family, very close to us, and they come to the center for services as well.
Excellent, excellent. And this would actually happen to, I'm sorry, I sound like I'm testifying here, I just want to, and this would actually result in less traffic on the Second Street side because it would send people to the First Street side instead, correct?
That's correct.
So that would alleviate some of the concerns from Second Street, correct?
It is not going to cause any traffic,
Okay,
no.
okay.
Could I add as well? Melanie Trottier, I work at the Spanish American Center. Just to say that we operate very much with respect for our neighborhood. Because of concerns in the past about traffic being stopped, we really changed our model of service to make sure that we were in harmony with our neighbors, because it doesn't make sense to be a community organization and not get along with those around you. So we will have a bigger space for the pantry. We're not looking to increase the capacity of service of the pantry right now. We are simply wanting to be able to build so that we can get out of the basement of 112 Spruce Street, which if anyone has gone down there, you do need a hard hat for that tour. So by bringing up that to the first level, it'll be a better situation for the one staff member that goes down there, for any volunteers. It will still operate as a drive-through, so it's just, you drive your car in, and you're correct that that would be now First Street. You drive in, the food pantry person loads the car, and then you drive out. So it's a well-oiled machine, but the part of it that doesn't work is being down in the basement of Spruce Street. So if we could have that whole area be BB zoned, it would make a lot of sense for us, because we we would add physically onto that garage structure that's on the 123, or 39-2, and that would be all one zone, if that makes sense.
So currently, and maybe Mr. Anderson, you can answer this. So currently, half of that property at 132 is already Business B?
Correct. A small portion of it is already BB, with the majority of it being RC, so we're looking to increase the BB over the entire parcel.
Okay, okay. I'm gonna open it up to the second member of my committee, Counselor Cormier. Do you have any questions?
I don't have any questions, other than the fact that the mayor sent us a letter and raised a concern, or not a concern, but just raised a question, something to think about, asking us to consider that in the future, if the Spanish Center moves to another location, the next property owner could put any of the approved uses in that space, and he sent us a copy of the underlying district table of uses. And obviously, this is already a public document, but there's a lot of things in this, BB district that could be done, that can't be done under the RC. But, I mean, there's already a lot of other parcels of land that they can do this on with BB. So I don't think that adding slightly under a quarter of an acre is gonna make a huge difference. I mean, they can already do some of these things that he's, asking us to think about close by there anyway. So I just think, I think it's in harmony with what's already there. And I think it helps, to a community organization to achieve some of their goals and execute their mission, so.
Council, would you read the mayor's letter into the record, I think? You
Sure.
don't have to read all the attachments, but just
Well-
the letter so it's in the record.
Sure, I read most of it. It's dated June 5th, 2026, addressed to the Leominster City Council regarding petition 50-26. Dear members of the Leominster City Council, attached is the list of what can be located in Business B under the current zoning laws. Please consider that in the future, if the Spanish Center moves to another location, the next property owner could put any of the approved uses in that space. And then he's attached section 22-17, which is entitled Underlying District Table of Uses. And this is in our zoning, and there is several pages of them, and you can read the chart here, and it explains what you can do in one and not in the other, so.
You good?
I'm good.
While we're on that, and thank you, Counselor Cormier, for reading that in, we did receive some feedback from other departments as well. I have a letter dated June 3rd of 2026 from the Office of Planning and Development to the Leominster City Council regarding this petition. It said, "Attention City Council, on June 1st, 2026, the Planning Board voted 7-0 to recommend petition 50-26 to the City Council. And if you have any questions or concerns, you can reach out to Elizabeth Wood." We have a letter back from April. This has been on our agenda. It's been bouncing around a little bit. Dated April 28th of 2026. And this is addressed to our city clerk. Dear Ms. Dorian, the Health Department has reviewed the referral involving the zoning change regarding the Spanish American Center and is satisfied with the request. We do not have any objection to their proposed plans. The Health Department has a great working relationship with the Spanish American Center and values their commitment and dedication to our city. We hope the Legal Affairs Committee of the City Council finds my comments useful in their evaluation of this petition. Should any clarification be needed, please do not hesitate to reach out prior to the public hearing. And that's signed sincerely, Michelle Powell, who is the director of the Board of Health. And I do have the original letter from Henning Engineering, just essentially notifying us that you were involved in the project. So based on that, I'm going to open it up. Is there any other members of the City Council? Councilor Bonanza.
Thank you, Madam Chairwoman. To the engineer, I'm looking at the plan and the crosshatched portion of it that is the proposal, I guess, to expand the BB district. It looks like the frontage on First Street is 90.75 feet total.
Correct.
And that includes the existing Business B district piece, right?
Correct. That's the frontage in total.
Total. So I don't know if you have a measurement for what's already in the BB district, but it looks to me like there's, I don't know, about 15% of it is already in the BB district.
Based on the approximate scale, you're correct. It's probably close to 10 to 15 feet.
Okay. So we're dealing with creating less than 80 feet of additional frontage in the BB district.
Correct.
So I get the mayor's point, but this is relatively a small piece of frontage overall. I just wanted to establish that. Thank you.
Yep.
Any other the members of the council? Madam President?
No questions, but I just have to tell Nettie I was here 32 years ago when you first came in here. And it's remarkable to see how you've moved, places you've gone, and how much you've done for everybody in the community. So, I mean, I'm just wanted to make that comment.
To be clear as well, this is my neighborhood. The Spanish American Center is in a house that my very, very good friends of mine, their family lived there, prior to it becoming the Spanish American Center. And I can tell you, when you first came, there was a lot in the neighborhood that were really worried about what might happen. And I can tell you, in the 32 years that you've been there, you are now a staple in that neighborhood. And if you ever went anywhere, there would be a lot of disappointed people around you. So I just wanted to keep that in mind.
And I wanted to add that it's a safe haven to many,
It is,
and we do our best.
it is, it is.
Thank you.
If there's no other questions, oh, I'm sorry, Councilor Shalfo Zephyr?
Not really a question, but you are an incredible safe haven for lots of people. And in my experience, you know, working with you and your organization, I know how important it is to be able to expand, to provide services to people, and you need the proper space. You know, going down those rickety, steep stairs to that basement, you know, that's a real challenge for people. So I'm really happy with what you're doing, and I'm happy to support it, Nettie.
Thank you, Susan.
Councilor Noseworthy?
Thank you. Also, no question, just a comment similar to what everyone else is saying. I mean, Nettie, you and the center are really a staple. We're so appreciative for all that you bring and all of your staff brings. As was already brought up, part of the building is already in, that space. And I think it's fantastic that you are thinking about moving things from the basement and up and showing that you're not just caring about people in the community that you're serving, but caring about the volunteers and the staff and their safety and the longevity of your mission. So thank you very much to all of you for what you do.
Thank you. I wanted to say something. 2 months ago, someone called my agency and said, Nettie, there is a place in Fresh Park. But then I was telling my staff and our board, we belong in Leominster. We've been here for so many years, and this is where we belong. And we belong here.
I agree, Nettie.
Thank you.
Absolutely. You're welcome.
Okay, are we set on the council? I'm going to open this up to the public. Is there anyone here who would like to speak in favor of or opposed to 50-26? For a second time, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak in favor of or opposed to 50-26? And for a third and final time, is there anyone in the audience who would like to speak regarding 50-26? So seeing none, if there's nothing further from the council, Madam President, on behalf of myself and Councilor David Cormier, we're going to ask that the public hearing be closed. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, possible. Got my fingers crossed.
Okay, moving on to continued public hearing. This is item number 48-26. Again, my name is Pauline Cormier. I'm the chairwoman of Legal Affairs. I'm joined with the other two members of the Legal Affairs Committee, Eladia Romano, the Ward 1 counselor, and the counselor to my right, Counselor David Cormier. This is Brooks Pond Realty Trust and Brooks Pond 2 Realty Trust. Request to amend the zoning ordinance and the zoning map of the city of Leominster, Massachusetts to change the boundaries of the zoning districts shown on the zoning map so that the following identified parcels shall all be located entirely in the Residency RC District. 1030 Central Street, 980 Central Street, 15 Brooks Pond Road, 4 Brooks Pond Road, 16 Brooks Pond Road, 20 Brooks Pond Road. If there's anyone here to speak as to this petition, if you'd like to come and join us up at the table here. Good evening.
No.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, you're on now.
Yeah.
Okay, good. My name's Peter Bovenzi, and I'm the owner of the property that we requested the rezoning to. Currently, the zone is, would you like me to speak a little bit about it? or-
Yes, certainly.
Currently, most of the property is zoned residency, 50-something acres of the land, and it incorporates both the Brooks Pond development and one we call Pine Hill, which is similar. We have, many of you have probably been there, seen it, and I think it's in Ward 3. And where we've been doing different things there with seniors and providing assistance for them, and it's been very successful. And what I'm doing is I'm proposing to make the zone all the same. Majority of it is residency. There's a little piece in the front that is zoned commercial, and we really don't have any commercial uses for it. What we want to do is continue what we're doing, and every time we go forward, it's confusing to people. So we're just at the advocacy of the building inspector, building commissioner. We thought it would be better to do what we want to do with providing the services to seniors, that it was zoned all the same. And that's that, and I'll be happy to answer any questions you have.
Okay.
Doesn't change the physical buildings that have been built or will be built. Pretty much all of it is finished. It's just to make it all the same.
Okay. So you said you have no commercial uses for these parcels?
No, they're either residential or ancillary uses to the residential.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this isn't adding any capacity?
No.
Okay.
In fact, we have received all the building permits already, and we have one little building we're building now, we're finishing, and that is the former site of 40s. On these parcels, there will be no other buildings. There's no changes in the buildings. The residency allows exactly what we want to do, as does the existing zoning, but it's a little more restrictive. It has a height restriction, setback restriction, and then that's it. But those we weren't exceeding anyways. So we decided just to go along with the building inspector's request.
Okay. So no structural changes, no added capacity,
No,
then obviously no additional traffic, no additional concerns?
No.
Along that course? So this is more of a housekeeping.
it's a use issue, and how we want to provide the uses. The structures and the parking and the number of people doesn't really change.
Okay.
And it's a unique thing. I think what we're doing is really well received by the people who are there. And it's slightly a work in process. And I'd be really happy to go through the whole process with you. what's been happening there and how we're advancing what we're doing. It started maybe 15 years ago. The site was owned predominantly by one owner, and it was Bart's Farm. At the time, it was zoned unrestricted, and it was there was his farming activities, his stand, his house, and there was a large pallet manufacturing operation going on where they would remanufacture pallets. I took ownership of it and rezoned majority of it, including some of the frontage, to Residence C initially. And I kept some commercial, just thinking that was the way to go. But I never really had any commercial uses that I wanted. One of the buildings that's actually there, and you may not associate it with the development, is the O'Reilly's Auto Parts, but that's really part of the development. So that was developed, and really hasn't been anything else. And I decided I wanted to build more housing that was age-assisted. And what's different in this development a little bit is that we don't necessarily provide all the services, but they have choices of the services they want, and they have the opportunity to get them when they need them and when they want them. So some of them are way down the road. When we started, I mean, the entire development is considered a 55 and older development, and when we started the development, the age groups were a lot less. Now, some people may not know, but in a 55 and older development, 20% of the units are typically not restricted in terms of age, which I thought was a good thing. So it allows some younger people to be in the mix. But over the years, it's been getting older and older and older because they don't want to leave, which I appreciate. We provide a lot of services. And one of the services is social. A lot of people don't realize how important that is to people. You'd be surprised to find out that the life expectancy of a person who has no social activities is the same as a cigarette smoker. So it will extend the lifespan of people to have that. It's considered, it's not a medical thing, but it's a thing that affects people's lives. So we do lots of things. We have a hiking club. And the first hike they did was from the office to the garden, and it was well attended. And they have plenty of hikes, and we have gardening. We have over 200 gardeners, and we're in some of the area that used to be the Bart's Farm. We were able to preserve it and keep it as gardening. We have some concerts. They all invite their grandchildren and their children, and we have. One of the interesting things is Anna's Table, which is integrated into the development. And that is I would be more than happy to share my whole philosophy, what we're trying to do there, but it's open to the public, and that allows it to be much more robust than if it was just the people who live there. It wouldn't be able to be half of what it is. And it's a very common thing happening these days to integrate those types of facilities within developments. And we're learning, and we're going along, and the people are coming up with more suggestions, and we find it to be really good. So our objective is to allow people to stay there as long as they can. Eventually, they will, if they're lucky and they survive, they will need more services, and they will have to go to more robust facilities, all the way to nursing facilities, And so we're a feeder for some of those facilities. We work closely with them, so when people can't stay there, but they can stay a lot longer if we provide these services, and they're happier. So that's what we're doing. So I decided that, and what I've been doing is allowed, but this would allow me just to keep it all one and I'm not interested in bringing in any more. When you look at that location and you go up and down the street, you'll notice, like, integrated, for example, the 7-Eleven, and then there's apartments. They're now condominiumized. And around all of the commercial buildings are this type of facility. So it integrates very well in the neighborhood. Those services, whether it's the little breakfast places and everything, the people love that. They love being integrated close so they can walk over. When they did the big improvement on Central Street, I was thrilled that they maintain the crosswalks and the lights they're going to put on them, and so people can get around safely. We just think it's ideal. It's not to build any more there. There's a little bit more that can be built in the back, but it has nothing to do with this.
Okay.
And I'm not really sure if I'm going to do it. But pretty much the site's built out, they're without some small exceptions, but nothing on these pieces. So there's no effect on that.
Okay. I'm going to open this up to members of my committee. Councilor Romero?
Yeah, thank you for that explanation, it was very helpful. I just want to get clarification on the Anna's Tables component of this project. So this gets changed to Residence C. This Anna's Table is a restaurant, it is
Correct.
commercial. How does that fit?
Well, there's a couple of reasons why it's fine. It would be considered a pre-existing non-conforming use. It couldn't be expanded, but it can be maintained. That's number one. Number two, that's if you saw it as a freestanding restaurant alone. But what its purpose is to provide services within the development for the people. I mean, they're in the same building. They push the button in the elevator, they go downstairs, and they're in the facility. Now, I think I explained this to a few people during the time, but it's not that uncommon. You're going to see it more, that of inviting the public into spaces in order to make the facilities more conventional and more economically viable. Otherwise, they would have to be really less attractive. So the fact that they can go in there and they can bring their grandchildren, their children, and their aunts, and it's kind of a special occasion space. And we're still trying to figure it out exactly how we want to do it. But we're very comfortable with the change, and it stops us from expanding it, but it doesn't stop us from doing it. Yeah.
Okay, Councilor? Councilor Cormier?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much, Peter, for that explanation. And I will tell you, obviously, I know a lot of people in the development, and people are very happy that live in there. I hear nothing about good things, about everything that goes on in there. So anything that you can do or want to do to make life even better, which is already good for a lot of people, I definitely support. One of my questions is O'Reilly's. Do you own that or no?
No, I do not. I developed the site. For example, if you look, the parking lot and the drainage all goes back into the retention ponds in the development. It's if you can imagine, if you had a residential subdivision, you have different lot owners, and they have their own house. So we developed it. We did not build the O'Reillys, nor do we own it, but it's part of the development.
So
The theory was that we might do more commercial, but as I looked at it, I really wanted the opportunity to do this the way, and the zoning allowed it. I don't want to go full blown like nursing care. I want to extend and provide services that individuals request, and I'm using independent contracting, so I'll use Anna's Table as an example. It's a separate facility, and we try to establish a relationship to have a privileged relationship with the residents. And it's kind of a work in process. It's kind of interesting. The other day, and I think I said this to one of the councilors, was was listening to NPR and the Wait, Don't Tell Me. They had these 3 restaurants where they were talking. 2 of them, I don't know if you ever listened to it, are false, and 1 is real. And so you had to figure out which one was the real one. And the celebrity who was on that, they didn't get the one. But the one that was real was that the UMass Amherst was that their dining commons were up for a Michelin award. And that they've invited the public in, and they're trying to make it much more beneficial to the people who are there, because it's real. It's not sort of a fabrication. My residents aren't ready for that, and they won't be for a while. But we have a lot of walkers, and we have a lot of people that we help get them over there. We just bought a handicap van to move people around, and our goal is to keep it exciting, and keep encouraging them to do things, to stay independent, to go out and work in the garden, and to go to the concerts, and to a lot of things. I mean, the other day we went to a Woo Sox game, so we had the buses. We go to Mechanics Hall. So we do tremendous amounts of interactions and different things. And I actually, when I first was thinking about it, I thought I would do like a cafeteria type thing where we would make and they'd have like 3 or 4 items to choose from. And then as we analyzed it further forward, we said, no, let's just do it like it's a real restaurant, invite the public, and try to figure out a way to make it real. And we're getting better and better at it. I think in the future, what we're doing is going to be copied. I think that it's really beneficial. It's different than an apartment complex in the sense that, you have nothing. Like this is more about, residents being together and sharing experiences and doing different things. And it's all driven by their choices, not, like, we don't impose it on them, but they can, it's gone well.
So, as I'm looking at this map, it's very small, but there's a piece of land. Is that O'Reilly's? Is that
The
spot?
little square
So that's-
is O'Reilly's, which will remain commercial.
Right, it's not included in this, it's
It's
not
not
gonna become
included, no.
pre-existing non-conforming,
No.
just the property to the left and to the right.
Correct,
It's 1 acre.
Right.
Yeah.
It's what,
1 acre. If you look at maybe it's too small to look in the,
I can hardly see, yeah.
What's interesting, if you go down, so you take the zoning. So I'm going to be in before you again next month with a different piece of land, but it's the same thing, where they took the Central Street and they wrote a distance back, all commercial. Even though much of it isn't commercial. Like you go on the other side of 7-Eleven, it's all multifamily residential. But it's been rezoned commercial. If you look, it goes up and down, because when you're making these global decisions, you're not really looking at property lines, you're just drawing lines.
Right.
And you're taking arbitrary distances back, and it looks good on paper. But sometimes they go through property lines. We just saw one with the Spanish Center that don't really, they're not necessarily thought out. But so most of that land over in that area is not commercially used.
Right.
And almost none of what we own.
Right.
And as I said at the time that we did it, it was all zoned unrestricted. You'll notice there's a tiny little strip of land that we did residency up to Central Street, which is the access road. It's the Brooks Pond Road. So we changed that all. And, at some point we thought maybe that would all redevelop into commercial, the other thing is, what we're doing is a lot less traffic, less everything. And it supports the commercial that's already there. The pizza parlors and the various different things, these people are customers. And so it's actually a good integration.
Thank you very much. I'm all set for the moment, Madam Chair.
I
Councilor
do,
Bedanza?
can I, I'm sorry, I was gonna say before we moved out of committee, but go ahead, that's fine. I just had a follow-up question.
I'll just make my way down the table, Councilor Bedanza.
Peter, I kind of applaud you for the concept, because lots of things I've been involved in the past, rest homes, for example, are keep people out of nursing homes and extend their lives, really. And then there's the Summit Elder Care we have in Leominster, which provides a lot of services to seniors to keep them in their homes. So all these things are really sort of cutting edge, and they're good things, because, unfortunately, by the time people get into nursing homes, the lack of socialization and, other things affect their lives, and I totally understand what you're driving at. I happened to be at Anna's table yesterday for brunch, and there was a good-sized party next to us, and 3 of them were mobility impaired residents of the building, and they had their extended family with them, and I said, well, what a great opportunity for them. And then after they were done, they just got on the elevator and went right back up to their unit, so.
Yeah, it was nice.
So, I mean, having these options for people and keeping them, and I know you do a lot of things for them in terms of, you mentioned Polar Park and the concerts and the bocce and the gardening. All these things are absolutely wonderful, and anything we can do to facilitate that, I certainly would be in support of.
Thank you.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr, I thought I saw your hand.
Yep, thank you, Peter. So, all of the buildings that are, you want to rezone are currently commercial, right? You want to rezone them to
Correct.
Residence C. So, if there isn't any plan to expand on those lots, then why go through the rezoning?
Because it's a use thing. Like, what we're looking
but-
at is, we're providing services motivated by the tenants, not motivated by us making the tenants do it. Like, for example, we provide them the services, but they don't have to get them. So that you could have a situation where they don't want the services. So then you would ask the question, that's where the building inspector is. Like, you're not saying you have to do this and this and this and this, and I said, no, it's totally up to them. And then, so you could do that anywhere. And, so with the, and I said, well, maybe, and then he believes that the underlying use, he likes what is in the back, which is 90% of it. He thought it would be better, but he isn't stopping me, but he's just thinking about it. So to the extent that, I can say that they're still age restricted, they will be age restricted. That's
Right.
something that we did a long time ago when we initiated the development.
Right, but on the 40s lot, which is on,
Yeah, that's a separate piece.
right, but you want that rezoned as well?
Yeah, that's all part of it. But it's already
But-
been
but-
permitted and we're building it.
Right, but I guess I just don't understand. You want to put in an assisted living facility, basically with apartments, and then you have an assisted living company providing a menu of different services?
No, see, that's exactly, I'm glad you're asking this question, because you're kind of getting to the nut of the thing. So, for example, the companies that we're working with go into the Brooks Pond development too. And they will provide services for you at your house, where you live. So even though there's a clustering of it, and it's all together, it's not required. I don't require it. But it's offered.
Right.
And for example, if you're going to get nursing care, it has to be from a licensed nursing care company, which we are not. But we have a relationship with one, but they can go bring in their own also. And whether it's home care or whatever, it's the same thing. Like, we load up the buses and go to the events, or we do the concerts. Like, I'll use the bocce league. Let's say there's 200 people who play, 62 I know are residents, and 140 are not. I say they're future residents, maybe. But so what we do is we integrate all our activities with the community and with, but the whole rationale between 55 and older is to create a density so that you can efficiently provide some services less costly. If
Mr.
you go-
Pavenzi, I apologize, I
Go ahead.
have to
have to
interrupt
break.
you.
Good
By
break.
statute, I have to start the meeting. We'll come back to you.
Okay.
I apologize.
Oh.
Please join us in a salute to the flag. We'll now do a roll call of councilors present. Councilor Cormier?
Present?
Councilor Pauline Cormier?
Present.
Councilor Adinger?
Present.
Councilor Noseworthy?
Present.
Councilor Romero?
Present.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr?
Present.
Councilor Robbins?
Present.
Councilor Bedanza?
Present.
Be recorded as present. All councilors are present. Do we have any records to report?
We do, Madam President. I've reviewed the records from May 26th of 2026, and I find them to be in good order. I'd have you check with other members of the council, and if we're in agreement, then I'd ask that they be put on file.
Okay, we have one comment.
I haven't, thank you, through the chair to the vice chair. I haven't seen a draft of those minutes. I didn't get I checked my email today. Did you send them out by email?
I was not here. Diane said she
Okay.
sent them out. Diane said she sent them out, but if you
Okay.
didn't get them, I will make sure you do.
You know, I double checked because I thought, I looked in all of my written material, my printed material. I looked again in my email and I didn't find them. Did everybody else get the minutes or am I just the only one?
I got it.
You got, did you
I
get
don't
them?
remember seeing them.
Did you get them? No.
You didn't get them
I
either?
did not.
I don't
Council?
remember seeing them, no.
Do you have an objection to waiting for the next
No,
meeting?
Thank
if
you.
that's agreeable, then we
All
can.
right.
Good.
Just to
Madam
be
President,
sure, we'll
yeah,
hold
thank
on
you.
to the next meeting. Okay, do I have a motion to
I'll
recess?
make that motion.
Councilor Cormier and Councilor Shalfo Zephyr. All right, Mr.
Okay.
Pavenzi, you're on again.
Oh, boy.
Counselor Shalfo
Counselor
Zephyr, I
Shalfo
think you had the floor.
All right, go ahead.
Yep, thank you very much. So anyways, in terms of the use, the only change, I think, or the substantive change, is really when you go from commercial, because commercial, you can't have any multifamily dwellings in commercial.
Correct, yeah.
Correct.
Well,
So
but you can under the assisted living.
you can have assisted living, absolutely. You can have an assisted living facility, but you cannot have
Let
multifamily
me-
or apartment dwellings,
Correct.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So one of the issues that came up, so as a developer, I read the zoning and I read the definitions. So the definition that Leominster has for assisted living, the building inspector agrees that I fulfill it and, but and I'll read it out loud, a combination of housing, support services, and it says, and such facilities may include dining, commons, recreational areas, transportation services, beauty salons, convenience stores, pharmacies, and similar establishments. It doesn't say they have to be, they
Right.
may.
But that's
So
all
we- And we
commercial.
are doing that.
Right.
Right, but also, the same exact definition applies to Residence C. Okay? So in Residence C, assisted living is allowed with the same exact definition. So what we're trying to do, though, is it hinges on what he believes is, the word may. And so him and I talked about it, and he said he was more comfortable if it was residency, if it was all residency. Now, we have permitted these in the back as well, because we're providing these services. And so that was the whole genesis of the thing. It's like belt and suspenders, or whatever you want to do, like it's a little bit overkill, but it doesn't change what his position was. He feels more comfortable, and I can do what I want to do, which is to provide the services that they want, when they want them, and
Based on the city standard.
based on the city standard.
Right, I certainly don't object to that at all,
Yeah,
that's not
that's
my
all we're
point.
doing, so we're not really changing it. And if it,
But from my perspective, Assisted living is allowable with a special permit from the planning board in Residence C.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah. And it is also allowed by right in commercial.
Correct.
So that's why all the permitting and everything is in place for the 40s lot.
I'm satisfied the way it is. I'm just trying to conform. So I can do what I want to do. I want to provide certain services, not provide others, and I may change it as I go and provide more as I go, and, you know.
But I would think that you'd have more latitude to provide more services in the commercial zone, which
You have a very
those,
good point.
which those parcels are.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
it's a good point, but it did, it restricts me a little bit, but,
In what way?
well, I'm restricted on height and other things. I can't expand it. There was more restrictions. But I did go through the special permit process
Yep.
also. So, I mean, I'm familiar with both of the processes in that development. So, as the image of the feeling is that, we could have had a different zoning designation. We could have had age-assisted living. We don't have that. We don't have all the various different lead-ups. We just have simple multifamily zone and residency and multifamily with services. So the fact that we are providing the services, and so we comply, but this was something that was brought to my attention and asked for, and I'm willing to do it. It doesn't change what I'm physically building at all.
Thank you.
Go ahead.
Through the chair to the legal affairs chair, do we have a referral back from the building inspector?
From the building inspector, I don't believe
We do not.
we do. I did send out a request kind of last minute, but no, we did not hear from the
Okay.
building inspector.
Okay,
I
I'm
think
good for now.
Council Robbins was next.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Mr. Provenzi, for coming down tonight and explaining your plan. The general plan, I think, is wonderful. I think the overlapping of services and housing is what people, older and younger, are really yearning for. Like, I know a lot of people in my age bracket, who want that same thing, that they can walk to the restaurant and walk to the store or whatever.
Yeah.
My question is kind of a continuation of Councillor Chalafou's efforts, just so I understand for my own clarity. So these front buildings that are currently in the commercial zone, by the city, are interpreted as assisted living, and that's what allowed them to be built?
Correct.
Okay. Looking at the table of uses, I see that apartment in that zone is not allowed. So
Correct.
I'm just trying to understand what the viewpoint was that got those built.
Yeah, it would be the services.
Okay.
So,
And do
And-
those buildings that are there have the services in them?
Yeah.
Okay.
they're spread around.
Okay.
Inside the buildings.
Okay.
But it's just a concept. I thought it was a good one, and
Yeah,
I mean,
no.
I vetted-
Again, I have no problem with the concept, just trying to
and
understand.
it's not inconsistent with what's around it.
Yeah.
And they have 126 individuals or couples,
Yeah.
that are absolutely happy.
And I know that
And if
you've
I have
probably
to,
got a long
if-
waiting
if-
list of
if
people who
I'm
want to come in.
forced, which I will, if I'm forced to provide all the services,
Mm-hmm.
then the rent will triple. And they don't need them or want them. So they want certain ones, they can get housekeeping, they don't have to get it, they can get other service. But if I have to provide all the services, even though this says may, and it has, then what it'll do is it'll triple the rent.
Understood.
So I'd prefer to not do that and allow them to transition as they need more. And then when if they don't need it. The other thing, this is another thing to think about, and you guys, you're at a good point to think about this. But, so as we built this development, and it was 400 units or whatever it was and everything, and people were younger, it was 55 and older, And they, as they got older and older and older, there was I apologize to my wife when I mentioned my mother-in-law a little bit. We went to Thanksgiving a few years ago, and I was worried, and I figured she was gonna need assistance, so we built an in-law apartment. That's when I became really a pro-in-law apartment person. I thought it was a nice thing, these ADUs. So I built it, and then when I presented it to her, she didn't want it. She was gonna stay independent and live in her own apartment, period, her house. And so then I realized that in talking with her that what happened really was that knowing it was there was very important to her, so that when she got to that point, she knew she had that. And so it allowed her to stay where she was longer, knowing that it was gonna be there. So all the people live in this development knowing that these services are coming and that they're available and that if they want them, they're there. It empowers them and they, regardless, they would just, stay as long as they could. They want to stay as long as they can, It would change the profile a little bit if we have to provide all the services. I don't think it will get to that. I think, as evidenced by the fact that we're doing so well and everybody likes what we're doing. But I just don't want to.
Is there a danger of that because of the commercial zone? Putting you in that box where you have to provide all these services?
Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think so, But I don't want to debate it. I think what we're doing is positive, so I think I sort of ran out of room in the front there to do anymore. The only reason we ended up with 40 is they had a right of first refusal, and I was nervous what was happening so close to me. And, if somebody thought it should be commercial and it did some benefit to, that's fine, I could do that. But I was happy to do what I was doing. Go ahead.
Okay, Counselor Arndinger.
Thank you, Mr. Bovenzi. You mentioned several times services and usage.
Yeah.
Do you have any particular services that you would want to provide?
Yeah, well, we provide housekeeping, we provide some transportation a little bit, or more guidance. There is in the age-assisted category, it's more connecting them up with services that they need and facilitating the space and the location and the buildings, for those types of things. I purposely did not bring that because I didn't really want to focus on that. Most of my people are independent, and they don't want to think about that. We don't push that, but we provide it.
Okay. As you may imagine, there are an awful lot of rumors going around as to what you're going to do there. I've heard everything from a mini market to beauty parlors and stuff like that.
The 40 site?
The 40 site, yeah.
It's already permitted.
Yeah.
And being constructed, and we have the building permit.
Okay.
Yeah.
And things like beauty parlors and stuff like that, is that part of the plan, or you have?
Not in that space, no.
Okay.
But I do have one space that I'm going to put one, yeah.
Okay.
Not, really just geared for more socializing, that they would go and hang out, and see each other.
Well,
There will be a beautician there, but.
They're needed in a community of your size, and it makes
Yeah.
perfect sense to have those
Yeah.
type of services. So,
Yeah,
okay, thank you, sir.
thank you.
All set, Counselor Arndinger?
Yes.
Counselor Noseworthy.
Thank you. I first want to say thank you for your vision and everything that you're describing. A few years ago, the Surgeon General put out a report about the loneliness epidemic, so you are correct in all of the age ranges. So thank you so much for bringing your vision. I guess my question, and listening to everyone else's, are to those listening at home, as far as being concerned about transparency or, if this passes, will people have more or less information in advance of some of the things that you're doing? I just know that that would be a question, because when they hear,
Yeah.
because of the past, changing things like this.
Well, let me be specific. So the buildings that we have up now are built. We have no plans to change them or expand them. We do, like, for example, let's go through the buildings, so if you're familiar with them. Like the first, like if you look at the building on 4 Brooks Pond, the reason the garages are all placed in the front, there is no other building that has garages in it, was that it directly fronts on, even though it's a slightly different grade, on Central Street. The other buildings have, like there's the physical therapy fitness centers in 15, the dining restaurant facilities in 16, so they're spread out and on purpose too, so that they go from each to other, you know. You know, we don't necessarily advertise or do anything differently than what would happen with the 40s building. It was going to be bought by somebody else who was going to do something else, and I'm not going to criticize what they were going to do. I just felt that keeping it consistent in what I was doing was the way to go. It's not very big. It's only, I think it's 17 units, and there's a facility inside that has like a home health care provider, and there's things the way they're built. Like as we go further in it, we're building them more, you know, actually higher degrees of care.
Sure, and I appreciate that. Like I said, I just know people at home are probably wondering, you know, will
It's no
they
different.
see things? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's just, yeah, what I'm doing, you know, I did run into the building inspector, and I asked him what he was, how, you know, what was, and he says, this is good. He said, you'll be able to do what you want to do, and you know, provide the services you want to provide, and limit them. If you know, like, you know, you could have it so that it was a dining commons and you had to eat there. And you could have it so you have all of these different things. That's more graduated and intense than I want to do, and it's more expensive. So I presented what I was doing, and everybody was okay with it. I did it. It's totally in conjunction with what I was, you know, and that's all I'm trying to do. I think it's interesting. I just, you know, you know, I think it's a good thing. I mean, this is really a good thing for the people that live there in the community.
Thank you, Councilor
Thank you so much.
Noseworthy. You're all set? Okay. Councilor Shalfo Zephyr?
Yep, thank you. Thank you. I agree with you. You know, having been through the part of my life where, you know, I had elderly parents and in-laws and, you know, tried to find them services and a place to live. I mean, it's very challenging for a lot of people. So I appreciate what you're trying to do, providing a variety of services based on what people need and what they want. But I just I'm just confused. I think that there are 5 lots and then a portion of the road, right?
Just the 5 lots.
Just the
Does
5
it
lots?
say the road? I don't know.
It says the road, a portion of the road on the assessor's map, half an acre plus or minus. I'm just looking at the
Yeah.
list. Okay. But anyways, I found, you know, 5 lots that are, you know, basically on Central Street, and those
Yes.
are currently zoned commercial.
Correct.
You have a variety of buildings on them, mostly residential with services provided in all
That's
of them, right?
exactly- Yep.
So right now, you've got, you know, no plan to expand or change, right? You're providing all of the services that people need, want, or what you are, you know, what you can provide at this time, correct?
What I feel is needed.
Right, right. So I guess this is all happening in the commercial zone, the way that they're zoned, so I
Right.
just don't understand the rationale for changing the zoning to residency.
I just thought it would satisfy the building inspector that what I was doing would be more in keeping with what he thought it should be.
But then wouldn't that make all of those buildings in commercial in violation of the residency zoning?
No, because I'm not saying that I'm doing anything differently, and they're both allowed. You sort of made the important point that, you know, they're both allowed. What I'm doing is allowed in residency, and it's allowed in commercial. So the rational reason is that if we have to provide all the services as a requirement of use, then it's going to be a lot more expensive.
But you don't have to require all of them.
It's possible, he believes that it's possible that we could be made to, even though nobody is doing that at this point. Like, in other words, he might be, you know, you have an interpretation, just like the question you're having. But he thinks it's better if the underlying use is consistent with residential, because he sees it that way.
Forced to provide them because it's commercial, is that the point?
He believes that in the commercial zone, it's possible it has to be more institutional.
Correct.
And it's moot court in the residential zone.
More like a sunrise,
I get it.
kind of.
It's, you know, although, you know, by zoning, I'm in compliance either way. But that, and I think there's a preference that in the commercial zone, it's more institutional. But there's nothing, it doesn't define it. My suggestion was one suggestion was to redefine the definition. You
Of
know?
assisted living?
Yeah, and you could have, one of the other things is when this original definition came about, might have been 25, 30 years ago, and it just keeps getting reprinted. But the state has gone and changed their definition quite a bit. It still, interestingly, does not provide any medical services. It's like right off the bat, that assisted living does not provide medical services. It provides services that are like meals, so not a medical service, or transportation is not a medical service, or getting a haircut is not a medical service. They specifically prohibit providing medical services in these types of developments. However, the state continues to evolve their definition of assisted living, and now the state definition is so different than the city's definition that it causes like a conflict.
Well, that's a different question then, right? You know, fixing the definition.
Well, zoning, I have to go by the city's zoning definition, and I can't look at other definitions. So but that's a different issue, because I already permitted and built them, occupied them. There's 120-something people living in them, you know. So his question is, I don't know if it's amusing. I mean, he's thinking out of the box, but he feels that it's in conflict with the state definition, and I would be better, what I'm trying to do would be better done if the underlying district was Residence C. And so I said, okay, I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm not doing anything differently. If you think what I'm doing is better this way, that's fine. So that's why I'm here. I'd be willing to comply with it if he wants it. And it's not wrong. What he's suggesting, I understand. And, you know, so.
Council President,
It's a pretty minor point that we're going through the rezoning, but I'm not opposed to it.
Madam President?
Thank you.
Thanks.
You know, I fully understand what you're looking to do. 15 years ago, when you started, you talked about this vision in the future.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a plan, you know, that you wanted to be able to assist and do a little bit more than just having apartments for people to
Yeah.
live in. And, you know, it's progressed that way year after year, and it's just, I mean, how many units of housing do you have right now?
In this one development, there's 126 in the front, and I think the total is around 500.
Right,
400 and something.
And what do you have for a waiting list? About
There's
132?
a lot of people on the waiting list, yeah.
So, and most of those people that are in your buildings are Leominster people that have sold their homes, you know, a lot of
Most of them, yeah. We
them.
track it, and mostly.
you know, which is kind of the cycle, you know, the single-family ranch that a younger couple can buy and start their life, and, you know, a place for these people to go. And, you know, we had a conversation about the difference with Sunrise Assisted Living that has the whole piece that you could do.
Yeah, yeah.
But that's not the intent, and why
Yeah.
is somebody gonna have to pay?
I visited there the other day, and they were very kind, and they invited me. And I happened to get there, well, the lunch was being served, and I recognized many of the people there. They were, it was the night bocce was starting up, and they were talking about a lot of the people that had lived with us at Brooks and Pine Hill. And then, so you do get to a point where there's
They'll
different
move-
degrees
right.
of assisted living, and more care is needed. And there's some of the units there, you know, they're locked-in units, you know, because the people can't. We're specifically not in that area. We're simply trying to extend by providing services exactly as we're required to, but as we want to, on a menu basis that they get to choose in an environment that is as normal and even, they wouldn't even notice what we're doing.
I often wonder where those people would be if your units weren't there. I mean,
Yeah.
would,
Well, they're very, you know,
I mean,
they're nice people.
we talked about what
Yeah.
unrestricted land there could have provided. I mean, there were depots that were looking at that land. We know what was
Yeah.
what was being proposed, and this was such a great project that has just developed into a better and better project.
Thank you.
And I understand where the building inspector is coming from. You know, rather than have him in a conflict with the state, if this provides what you want to do, and it satisfies the city, satisfies the state, and you're doing what you want, what you need to do, and provide that service, I mean, I think it's a win-win for everybody.
Thank you, yeah.
Thank you.
All set, Madam President? Okay, I'm going to open this up to the
I
public.
think, did Councilor Romero had a follow-up?
I'm sorry.
I did, yeah. So, first, I just want to say, I want to acknowledge what you're doing is definitely very important for our community. It is supportive and preventative housing, so that essentially these elders are not winding up in assisted living facilities when they can still live independently with some support. So that, I think, is undisputable. I think we can all agree to that. I think the question, for me, is you're already providing these services. I think, as, you know, Councilor Shalfo Zephyr pointed out, you're providing the services already, including Anna's Table, with the current zoning that you have. It's just not, and even with the recommendation that you know, change the zoning, it just, it's still not clear to me. And as you said, like, well, yeah, it's a good recommendation. It's like, why? He's already providing the services. So really getting an explanation from him
Well, let me.
would be very helpful, like,
For example, the state requires you to provide a meal a day. You know, it requires it to be part of the fees that are charged by the facility. So I didn't do any of that because I was working based on the zoning, so I don't want to do that. If I have to do that, then I'm going to do it, but I'm going to have to charge for it. And so the rent is going to be totally different.
but that would be
If the state
assisted living facility.
Full-fledged.
Your community is not considered an assisted living facility.
Not by the state, but it is by city zoning, right? Which is because the definition of the city zoning of the definition in our zoning for assisted living doesn't require any of these things. So if, you can look it up, it'll be there.
So essentially, the
that's-
building inspector is recommending that you change the zoning to be in compliance with state regulation, not city regulation.
Or to change the underlying district. Either or, either one satisfies him. In other words, I don't think there's any requirement from the city to do these things. but there could be a requirement from the state. And I want to avoid that.
Is it possible for us to just
We
get
can do it, then we'd have to charge more, that's all.
get his,
No-
his
nobody-
explanation? I really,
I think, to me, it's been clear. The building inspector is looking at the possibility that our definition might butt up against the state definition of what a assisted living facility needs to be, how it needs to be zoned, and what they need to provide. In abundance of caution, he's saying, well, if you change the zoning now, and you can, correct me if I'm wrong, if you change it, then we're well within the scope of what Leominster allows and well
And the
within
state.
what the state would require. So it's just the building inspector is saying, rather than be butting right up against their definition and our definition, change the zoning, and then you're well within ours, and you're no longer butting up against the state.
Let me tell you why. Because he would no longer consider it assisted living, he would consider it multifamily housing with services. So he then doesn't have to address that. If there is no interim step possibly, although I don't have any doubt that, what I'm doing is a good thing, but there's, like, if we want to call it that, then we may have to do more services, and then we have to charge for it. And then the whole point is destroyed, I mean, why we were doing it, to try to keep people longer, we'd actually be just another one,
Just another.
Just another assisted, full-fledged assisted
Yeah.
living
And,
facility.
well, I don't want to say that. They have to provide so many services, those cost money. And then
Right.
people can't afford them sometimes, or they don't need all the services, but they need some. Or they may project in the future that they need them, and it gives them confidence. But go ahead, I'm sorry.
Counselor Noseworthy?
Thank you. And obviously, the building inspector isn't here to ask, but I'm also thinking, I guess, and I'm not a building inspector, I see your vision, and I think it's amazing. I guess I'm not understanding, as has been stated, how it couldn't just be viewed as apartments with amenities. Like, a lot of apartments have a lot of really amazing amenities, and I guess okay,
I'm going to try this because I don't think this has come across clear yet.
Okay.
I believe what you're really saying is the building inspector believes it's possible that as a commercially zoned piece of property where services are being provided, that you're going to have to meet the state definition of an assisted living facility, which includes a whole lot of things you're not doing right now,
it will cost them more money.
which you don't want to do. And that's the danger. Whereas if it's a residential C zone, you can use the city definition of assisted living, which is much more mild than the state definition, and continue to do what you're doing without any concern that the building inspector is not enforcing something or is in the proper place.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yes, it does make sense, but I think I'm in total compliance on every level. I'm just trying to,
Well,
Avoid
the
it.
building inspector might have a different opinion.
well, no, he does say that I'm in compliance with zoning. So, that's why we have the building permits, and we have built what we built, but he wonders, and I've done some research in it, and I wonder myself sometimes. Yeah.
Well,
I just rather do
look,
it this way.
if there's a doubt, that's where the doubt comes from, though, right? It comes from the fact that the commercial zone may require something more aggressive in terms of assisted living definitionally.
And it might be a good thing, but it might not be a good thing for the people that are already there and the developer, what we're doing. We could do it, but I don't know that we,
You don't want to do it, the people who live there don't want it.
no, it's just.
So I'm not sure how it could be a good thing, but maybe for
Well, for
other
somebody else,
residents,
yeah.
these options for people are helpful, right? Like I said, I had a rest home client in Fitchburg that there aren't many of those left. And I don't know why, because they provide a great opportunity for people to stay out of a nursing home for quite a long time, because they get some level of service, they get socialization, they have someone watching over them. They cost about a third of what a nursing home placement costs. So it doesn't make any sense to me why those aren't encouraged, but they're not. But, I mean, as far as I'm concerned, anything to, I think we're all supportive, or at least I am, as to what you're doing there. I don't want to see it endangered because it's commercially zoned, and somebody in the future thinks that you need to do more. I just don't think that's helpful to anybody.
Yeah, thank you, I agree. That's,
Counselor Shalfo Zephyr.
Thank you. If it's a problem or a question of, the state's definition of assisted living versus the local definition of assisted living, maybe we should try to get ours, squared away with the state definition so that we're consistent.
It's more aggressive. There's more services in the state definition.
But
So-
I'm not saying necessarily adopt it, but I'm saying that, we do things differently than state statutes all the time. I mean, we have local ordinances, we say we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, whatever, and it's specific to Leominster, right?
But that's not what we're discussing tonight. I understand what you're saying, but now you're saying, well, let's change the definition of
Why
what
change
it-
the zoning? I mean, it's just really unclear to me.
Okay, I'm gonna open this up to the members of the public. If there's anybody in the public that would like to speak in favor of or against 48-26, please come to the podium. For a second time,
Hi. My name is Robin Dowling. I live on Fifth Ave, 29 Fifth Ave in Leominster. I wasn't going to say anything because I have no skin in the game, but it was an interesting dialogue. I've worked with commercial real estate before and doing 55 and over. And I get what you're saying in the vision. I think it's awesome. And I do understand the benefits to the community and the seniors and to the sandwich generation. I do understand that. I think it's interesting that a petitioner can come here and speak. So I'm talking about form. Can come here and speak and not have the building inspector here. So I think it would be helpful to have the building inspector here just to help what you're saying or to help clarify. It seems like there's I love Brooks Pond.
Robin, could I just make sure you run your comments through the chair, not to the
okay.
petitioner?
Sorry.
It's okay.
I think it's a great community location, vision, all of that. It's nothing really novel. There's a lot of that going on in other states and other communities, even throughout Massachusetts. I'm glad the vision is happening here. It just sounds like there's a lot of commercial going on here advocating for Brooks, rather than asking the questions, which some have been asked, which is why change it then, that. And then to use the fear of, well, you have to be careful because then you go up to assisted living requirements by the state. That's not really the issue. The issue is if he's doing it now here at this zoning definition, to change it makes sense for this reason or not. But it's not in fear of someday meeting a state assisted living requirement because he's already got that now. So it seems like it's very unclear. So, I mean, I can understand some of the counselors' comments, but to go to the extreme here, you'll have to meet these requirements of state assisted, that's really not the point in the issue because he's already got that happening now, it seems. So let's get some clarification as to why the zoning changed. Not that I'm for, like I said, I have no skin in the game, but it's getting lost with the commercial, the advocacy by comments by some of the city council members really putting on commercials for Brooks when it's actually just a zoning thing, that technicality. I have questions about the strong encouragement for Brooks, but nobody's asking the questions. Anna's table's great. I've eaten there. Let's stop with the commercialization of saying all these great things and get down to the logistics and the technical side of things. Have the building inspector here. Anna's table and Brooks seems to be very expensive. So to put it out, I mean, really, some of the rent is expensive, Anna's Table's menu is very expensive. So let's not pretend that this is a benevolent, philanthropic thing going on here. It's not affordable housing. It's not an affordable restaurant to many people. So 55 and plus, if you're going to speak that language, let's see what's affordable. Let's talk real, and don't act like this is a wonderful thing for the community. We're doing such great stuff, and we're doing affordable for seniors, and it's a business deal.
Somebody say.
It's a business.
This was not built as an affordable housing
No,
project.
and I understand that, but we're acting as if it's a great thing for the community. Brooks is fantastic, and they do have a lot of events going, but it's very expensive to live there. Anna's Table's very expensive. It's not the average person, so when you speak about, oh, it's great for the community because people come out of ranch homes, and then I get this generational thing, but it's really not affordable to a lot of people in Leominster, and neither is Anna's Table.
I don't think-
Who said it was?
I'm speaking, excuse me.
Who said it was?
No,
Did
excuse
anybody
me.
say that?
Excuse me, I'm still speaking.
Yeah,
I'm saying it's being postured as if it's philanthropic or benevolent, or this is.
I don't think that's the
Well,
case.
I-
I'm gonna
I'm
leave it
still
up to the
speaking,
chair.
Madam President. I'm
You
still
are,
speaking.
and we're getting off the topic.
No, well, actually, what I'm saying is, let's stick to the logistics, stop giving commercials for what his
I
vision.
don't think anybody's giving a commercial. I
speaking,
think
Madam President.
You are speaking, but you're not speaking to the issue.
I'm speaking to the issue.
We're not talking philanthropic here.
I'm speaking to the issue that there's a lot of great things going on at Brooks Pond. There's a lot of great things about Anna's Table. Let's not get lost in this great vision and this, and that, when it's really not affordable for a majority of the public. So let's get down to the issue, which is zoning. If it were to change, and why is the building inspector not here? And let's stop acting as if this is affordable housing that fits this wonderful broad base in Leominster. It really doesn't. It's a zoning thing. And if I came to the table with a petition without the building inspector, and I spent 45 minutes talking about why he said this, just enough of all of this, get to the reality of the zoning issue at hand. And stop giving all of this, acting as if Brooks
Okay,
Pond
Ms.
is
Dowling, you're
affordable.
past your 2 minutes, so I'm gonna open
Okay,
it up to the rest of the members of the audience now. Thank you.
And I would just say, I
Is-
would appreciate it, please, if we could have the building inspector clarify a
the
lot of
chair-
it.
Certainly, I'll take that under advisement. Thank you very much. For a second time, is there any member from the audience who would like to be heard either in favor of or opposed to agenda number 48-26? And for a third and final time, is there any member of the audience who would like to speak in favor of or opposed to 48-26? Seeing none, I will go back to the city council. Is there any city councilors who have any new questions, requests, informations that they would like to discuss at this point? Okay, seeing none, Madam President, it would be my position to recommend that we close the public hearing. I'd ask you to check with members of my committee.
All right, Councilor Cormier,
I agree.
Councilor Romero.
I would, I do not agree. And the reason I don't agree is that I would very much like to see information from the building inspector prior to closing this hearing and voting on this issue, because it's not clear to me that this is actually, it's required. So I'm dissenting.
No,
But thank you.
No need to apologize.
No,
So, Madam President,
you're a majority of your council.
the majority of my subcommittee is asking that this public hearing be closed.
Thank you, Mr. Bevenzi.
Can I speak? May I speak?
I'm gonna go to the chair. We're done, but.
We're good. We closed the public hearing. We'll take it up a little bit later on in the meeting. Thank you, Mr. Benzi,
You
for
can,
coming
you
in.
can speak in the public forum after if you choose to, when we get to the public forum.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, the council is now back in session. And now, we are gonna have the public forum. Public forum is an opportunity for any member of the audience wishes to speak on any matter specifically listed on the council agenda. Speakers will be asked to come to the microphone, state their formal name and address, along with identifying the specific items they wish to address. Council will not be responding to any questions.
To the chair. Good evening. Attorney Avini. I'm here on 61-26. This is a petition for an overlay district on Jungle Road. We were before you a couple of months ago, and we withdrew without prejudice. Now we resubmitted for an overlay district. In a preemptive move, I've got a copy of this over to Brian Riley. He and I have had a brief discussion about it. My only note would be that as part of the petition, we did have a zoning table, and I do not see that as part of 61-26 as it's shown on the agenda. So I just want to make sure that the council's aware that there was a proposed zoning change or table that was attached to the petition. I just want to make sure that has been circulated and has been reviewed.
Yes, it's part of the packet, it's not.
Again, it's not
We
part
may
of,
have gotten it
it's not part of the
electronically.
agenda. I just want to make sure it's part of what the city council's been reviewed.
We'll be sure that everybody gets it. if it
That's all I want to make sure of.
I think it came electronically
Great.
anyway.
It did, it just didn't,
I got it. No, well, it says, it does say, towards the bottom, as provided in the attached document. So I just want to make sure that everyone has it. Great.
Yeah, I got it. We all received it.
thank you, Attorney Avini.
Thank you, folks. Have a good night.
Thank you, have a good night.
Thank you, Counselor. Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to address the council?
Peter Bovenzi. Is that on now? No? Peter Bovenzi, 560 Goodrich Street, Lunenburg, Massachusetts. I appreciate the comments that were made, and I hope that the building inspector can submit some sort of letter or something and try to clarify his position. I respect everybody here on the council, and I do admit that it's not a subsidized development, although we do have some people who do receive subsidies, but it's private. They do it on their own. And we do have a program that the people in the development don't pay. They get a discount in the restaurant. That's how we handle it. But that's, again, we don't publicly talk about that because it's not a subsidized development. But I respect the comments made by the person, and they're very good. But thank you.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Mr.
Peter.
Ramsey.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else in the audience that wishes to address the council? If not, is there anyone else that wishes to address the council? Again, is there anyone who wishes to address the council? For the last and final time, is there anyone who wishes to address the council? If not, I'll declare the public forum closed. Moving on to communications.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor. Request payment for a prior year invoice in the amount of $21,042 for Leominster Public Schools.
C90 has been referred to the Chair of Finance.
Thank you, Madam President. First time on the calendar, regular course, please.
All right, before we move to the next one, I got lost here, but I just wanted to welcome our clerk back. She's had a little bit of a trial here and writing left-handedly tonight, and hopefully can read her notes, but glad to have you back with us.
Thank you.
Likewise.
C91.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests the City Council approve and authorize payment of a prior year outstanding salary obligation to an employee of Leominster Public Schools in the amount of $4,938.80.
C91 is referred to the Chair of Finance.
Thank you, Madam President. Regular course, please.
Okay, C91 has been given regular course. C92.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, respectfully requests the appointment of Tatiana Laura Melendez, 341 Union Street, Apartment 1, Leominster, to the Library Board of Trustees, term to expire 4/15/2029.
C92 is referred to the Chair of Ways and Means.
Thank you, Madam President. First time on the calendar, regular course, and I would ask the clerk if she can reach out to Ms. Melendez and see about setting up an interview before our next meeting on whatever that date is.
22.
June 22nd. Thank you.
C-92 has been given regular course with an interview to be scheduled for June 22nd. C-93.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, respectfully requests an appropriation of $5,000 be made to the city councilor expense account with the same amount to be transferred from the excess and deficiency. These funds will be used to pay bills for the remainder of the year.
C-93 is referred to the Chair of Finance.
Thank you, Madam President. Regular course, please.
C-93 has been given regular course. 394.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, respectfully requests an appropriation of $10,000 be made to the Weights and Measures receipts received for appropriation fund, the same amount to be transferred from excess and deficiency, and an appropriation of $37,000 be approved for expenditure for the Weights and Measures receipts received for appropriation fund.
Okay, C-94 is referred to the Chair of Finance.
Regular course, please.
C-94 has been given regular course. C-95.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, respectfully requests an appropriation of $500,000 to be transferred to the stabilization account from excess and deficiency.
C-95 is referred to the Chair of Finance.
Thank you, Madam President. First time on the calendar. Regular course, please.
Okay, C-95 has been given regular course. C-96.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, respectfully requests an appropriation of $82,000 be transferred from excess and deficiency to the Safe Streets for All grant account.
C-96 is being referred to the Chair of Finance.
Thank you, Madam President. Regular course, please.
Okay, C-96 being given regular course. C-97.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, respectfully requests an appropriation of $100,000 be transferred from excess and deficiency to the refused disposal account.
C-97 is referred to the Chair of Finance.
Thank you, Madam President. I'm going to ask for regular course on this one as well, as required by the charter. And I'm also going to suggest for all of those finance matters that we conduct a finance subcommittee meeting on Tuesday, June 16th at 5 p.m. And I'll check with my fellow committee members to make sure they don't have a conflict with that date and time.
Councilor Andrew, you okay with that?
I think so.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr?
I'm actually away next week, so.
The whole week? Well, let's see. It's going to be kind of difficult.
How much do we have on, prior to, well, we have too much to have before the next meeting.
Yeah, I don't think that's going to work
No.
before the next meeting, so.
There's too many items.
There's too many items, so if next week isn't a possibility, then the only option would be sometime this week, which we need 48 hours.
Thursday or Friday.
Thursday or Friday.
Yeah, those are difficult days for me. First of all, I'll check, are you available?
Yeah, so, Councilor Andrew, can you do the 16th?
I could do, yeah. that works.
You'll have to do it with just the two of
Two.
you.
All right, so we'll do it the 16th at 5, because.
There's too many things. I don't know what else we can do. Do you have any suggestions, Councilor?
Pardon me?
Do you have any suggestions?
For next week?
No, I mean, I'm trying not to do this without you, but
Oh,
there's nothing else we can do here.
I know, Thursday night is really hard for me. I have a graduation. Friday night, I have another, evening commitment.
Okay, so,
And I'm out of town next week.
okay, so.
We'll have to do the 16th.
All right, so the 16th at 5 PM it is.
Almost said.
All right, thank you. Okay, so.
If you'll
you
send that
sure you
notice.
Post that?
Yes.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. And just for the record, C-97 is regular course too, Madam President, please.
Okay, C-97 has been given regular course. Moving on to petitions, first time on the agenda, 59-26.
GameStop Incorporated, request to renew license to deal secondhand articles at 26 Orchard Hills Park Drive, Leominster, Mass.
Okay, 59-26 is referred to the Chair of Ways and Means.
First time on the calendar, regular course.
Okay, 59-26 has been given regular course. 60-26.
Carrie Noseworthy, Ward 4 Councilor, request to install signs on Highland Ave to Abbott Ave cut-through in both a northeasterly and southwesterly direction.
We just change that to the Ward 5 Council, though.
It does say Ward 5.
Yeah, you said Ward 4.
Oh, I'm sorry. I apologize for that.
That's all right, just so we don't confuse the public.
Gotcha.
Okay, 60-26 is referred to the Chair of Legal Affairs.
Thank you, Madam President. First time on the agenda, regular course, please, with a referral to the Traffic Division of the Police Department and to the DPW. And I believe we need to schedule a public hearing.
Yes, we will schedule a public hearing for 6/22 at 6 o'clock. All those in favor of hearing date on 6/22 at 6 o'clock signify in usual manner. Those opposed? 61-26.
William A. DePietri, manager of care of Attorney Jeff A. Avini, request to amend Section 22 of the revised ordinances, Article 5, by adding the following new Section 33B, Jungle Road Overlay District, as provided in the attached documents. Introduction, 21 Jungle Road LLC, hereinafter Jungle Road, is the owner of 21 Jungle Road, Leominster, Mass., as same is referenced as map ID 301, parcel 1, hereinafter the premise. Jungle Road has entered into a purchase and sales agreement with Horizon Storage Group LLC, hereinafter Horizon, for the purchase of the premise, contingent upon Horizon receiving all necessary approvals and permits for the construction of a self-storage facility on the premise. The premise is an ideal spot for self-storage based on its proximity to Route 2 and Route 190. The premises is located in an area that is for the most part commercial or industrial in nature. There are no residential uses that abut or in the vicinity of the premises. As part of this petition, please see narrative by Horizon Storage Group LLC as to be the proposed use of premises as Exhibit A, concept site plan as Exhibit B, and example architectural renderings and as Exhibit C.
Okay, 61-26 is referred to the Chair of Legal Affairs.
Thank you, Madam President. Regular course, please, with referrals to the Planning Department. I believe we're going to have to send this out to Brian Riley's office. The Police Department, the DPW, and did I check them all there? And this matter will need to be scheduled for a public hearing as well.
Yes, we're going to schedule the public hearing for August 24th because the planning board will not be meeting again until July 20th. So we're going to be looking at 8/24 at 5:45.
Perfect.
All those in favor of a hearing date for 61-26 for 8/24 at 5:45, signify in usual manner. Those opposed? 61-26 is given further time, regular course. 62-26.
Sergeant Gregory Robichaud, Leominster Police Department, requests that a no parking ordinance be considered for Pleasant Street in the vicinity of Bennett School.
62-26 is referred to Chair of Legal Affairs.
Thank you, Madam President. Regular course, please, and I believe we can we send an invitation to Sergeant Robichaud?
Sure.
To have him come down and discuss
An
this?
invitation? You don't want to order him, you want to
Well,
invite
let's
him.
order him to come
Okay.
down. I prefer invitation, but I guess we'll order him to come down.
I'm sure you would too. Okay, and we need a hearing date.
Yes.
We can do that on 6/22, 26. at, what time did we do the interview?
6 o'clock.
Okay, so we'll do this one, we'll set it for 6:03. Okay, all those in favor of a hearing date on 6/22/26 at 6:03 signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Okay.
Madam
Six-
President?
Yes.
Quick question. I thought with the public hearing for petition 60-26 was at 6 PM.
We did schedule it for 6.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. I thought you said there was an interview also at 6 PM.
It was 6 o'clock. What, that one's
No,
at
but, yes, but there
This
was
one-
an interview on,
We didn't set the time
didn't
for
set
the
it.
interview, so
I
we
didn't-
can change that.
Okay, great. I
That's
just wanted to
right.
clarify that. Thank you.
Okay, 63-26, I think we're on, right?
Mm-hmm.
63-26.
Carrie Noseworthy, Ward 5 Counselor, request to install a stop sign on Hoover Street northerly at the intersection of Chalmers Street.
Okay, 63-26 is referred to the Chair of Legal Affairs.
thank you, Madam President, regular course with referrals to the Police Department and the DPW. And we're also looking for a public hearing on that date as well.
We will set a public hearing on 6/22/26 at 6:05.
Perfect.
All those in favor of the hearing date signify in usual manner. Those opposed? Okay, 64-26.
Donna Millette of 58 Sky Lane, Leominster, respectfully requests to modify section 22-4 definitions of the Leominster zoning ordinance by adding the following definition of data center.
Okay, 64-26 has been referred to the Chair of Legal Affairs.
Thank you, Madam President. Regular course, please, with a referral to Brian Riley's office, planning, and anything else you can think of? I think that's okay for recommendations. Again, with this, if it's going to planning, I'm gonna ask for that.
Want to do building too?
And building department, yes, certainly. And perhaps we can go to that second date in August as well.
Yes, we are. 64-26, be 8/24/26 at 6 o'clock.
Thank you, Madam President.
All those in favor of the hearing date for 6 o'clock signify in usual manner. Those opposed? 65-26.
Donna-
Referred to the Legal Affairs Chair. Sorry.
65-26, do you want me to read that in, or can we do these on block, since they're all gonna go to the same? Okay. 65-26, Donna Mollett, 58 Sky Lane, Leominster, respectfully request to amend the Leominster zoning ordinance in accordance with section 22-14 on behalf of 10 registered voters. As follows, proposed Leominster zoning amendments for the MU2 district. 1, amend Article 3, Section 22-17, underlying districts, table of uses, to replace the entry for apartments/multifamily dwelling under District MU2 to read SPCC. Number 2, amend Article 7, Section 22-40.3, table of dimensional regulations, to replace the following rows for MU2.
It's impossible to read that, so you have to.
Yeah,
Just,
it's
it'll be
basically-
in the clerk's office if anybody wants to see that, or online.
Correct, and the same thing with the rows to replace it with. Number 3, to amend Article 4, Section 28.4, dimensional regulations by replacing existing 28.4 with the following: 28.4 dimensional regulations. 4.1, in no case may the multifamily housing component of a mixed-use project, when located within a separate building, comprise more than 33% of the land area of the entire project. Number 4.2, any setback or yard requirement otherwise applicable at the perimeter of a lot applies only to the perimeter of the site of the mixed-use project. 4.3, see HTU article, what is that, 7 UTH for additional dimensional regulations. Number 4, amend Article 4, Section 2.8.5.1, buffer by replacing 2.28.5.1. Notwithstanding the requirements of the table of dimensional requirements, the planning board may require vegetative buffers of up to 30 feet between uses within the MU2 district at its discretion during site plan approval, with the following: a minimum landscaped and naturally vegetated, if determined to be adequate by the planning board, buffer area of 30 feet must be established between different uses within the MU2 district. Number 5, amend Article 4, Section 28.5.1, buffer by replacing 28.5.1.2. A buffer area shall be provided between any buildings in the MU2 district, any adjacent residential zoning district. This buffer shall consist of a natural undisturbed trees and vegetation to the maximum extent possible. The width of the buffer and planting scheme shall be at the discretion of the planning board, but in no case shall be required to exceed 50 feet. With the following: a minimum landscaped or naturally vegetative, if determined to be adequate by the planning board, buffer area of 50 feet must be established between any development within the MU2 district and an adjacent residence zoning district. That's that one.
Okay.
So I'm gonna request that that be given regular course with
Yes,
referrals.
I was just looking back for the numbers, 63, 65.
pages, yeah.
That's 26, it's 2 pages back, and I was losing track. For 8/24/26, it's 6/10.
And with the same referrals to Brian Riley, Planning in the Building Department as well. Can we, I think that's good for now. I think sending it out to the DPW might be a little overkill.
I just realized we gave the clerk a break because I referred it to you and you read it instead of her, so I'm sure she appreciates that.
Very much so, thank you.
I can continue.
All right, we
if
need to
that's
vote
okay.
on 8/24/26 at 6:10. All those in favor signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Okay, 60, where are we, 66.
Madam Clerk, would you like me to continue with my reading of it?
Please, you're doing so well.
66-26, Donna Mollett of 58 Sky Lane, Leominster, respectfully requests to amend the Leominster zoning ordinance in accordance with Section 22-14 on behalf of 10 registered voters as follows. Modify the existing entry in the table of uses, apartments/multifamily dwellings, from being Y in MU2. And again, there is a chart continued here. It is difficult to read, but that will be available in the clerk's office on the agenda. And I would refer you to that.
Well, you gotta go to the next one, to N, from Y to N.
From
It's
Y,
in the middle of the charts.
okay, from Y. Modify the existing entry apartments from Y to MU2.
And
Yeah,
To
she's going
N
from
in
yay to
MU2.
no. Yes to no.
Thank you, I was reading too fast.
Okay, 66-26, been given regular course with hearing date set for 8/24/26 at 6:15.
And
All
with-
those in favor of the hearing date signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Okay, 67-26.
Madam President, just to clarify on that last petition with the same referrals.
Same, yes, okay.
Just to put
We'll
that
do
in.
the same referrals for all of these
Okay.
regarding Orchard Hills.
Okay, 67-26, Donna Mollett of 58 Sky Lane, Leominster, respectfully requests to amend the Leominster zoning ordinance in accordance with Section 22-14 on behalf of the 10 registered voters as follows. Modify Section 22-4 definitions of the Leominster zoning ordinance by adding the following definition of data center: a facility or portion thereof primarily designed or used to house computer servers and related information technology infrastructure for the storage, processing, management, or transmission of electronic data. A data center may include, but is not limited to, server racks, data storage systems, cooling systems, power conditioning equipment, substations, uninterruptible power supplies, backup generators, telecommunications equipment, security systems, and associated mechanical and electrical infrastructure. A use shall be classified as a data center where either A, more than 25% of the gross floor area is devoted to server racks, stationary computing equipment, or associated mechanical or electrical infrastructure, or B, the primary purpose of the facility, as determined by the planning board, is the housing and/or operation of computer servers and related infrastructure, regardless of floor area allocation. For purposes of this bylaw, a data center shall not be considered an office use. And it goes on to modify the table of users by adding the following entry. This one's pretty easy. Data centers, under RR would be a no, under RA would be a no, under RB would be a no, under RC would be a no, under BA would be a no, under BB would be a no, under C would be a no.
Special permit, city council.
Special permit, city council.
Industrial.
Industrial. So under C would be no, under industrial would be a special permit by the city council. MU1, MU2, and V would all be no.
Okay, 67-26, your recommendation is regular course with the same referrals,
With the same referrals, please.
with the hearing date of 8/24/26 at 6:25. Okay, 68-26, we gotta vote on
Vote on
the
the
hearing
time.
date. All those in favor of the hearing date signify in usual manner. Those opposed? 68-26.
Thank you, Madam President. Donna Mollett of 58 Sky Lane, Leominster, respectfully requests to amend the Leominster zoning ordinance in accordance with Section 22-14 on behalf of 10 registered voters as follows. Modify the Leominster zoning ordinance with the precedents established in Mass General Laws, Chapter 40A, Section 5 as follows. From Section 22-14, adoption and amendment, 14.14, no zoning ordinance may be adopted or changed except by a 2/3 vote of all the members of the city council. If there is filed with the city clerk, prior to final action by the city council, a written protest against such change stating the reasons and duly signed by owners of 20% or more of the area of land proposed to be included in such change, or if the area of land immediately adjacent extending 300 feet therefrom, no such change of any ordinance may be adopted except by a 3/4 vote of all members. 2, Section 22-14, adoption and amendment. 14.14, no zoning ordinance may be adopted or changed except by a 2/3 vote of all the members of the city council. If there is filed with the city clerk prior to final action by the city council, a written protest against such change stating the reasons and duly signed by owners of 50% or more of the area of land proposed to be included in such change, or in the area of land immediately adjacent extending 300 feet therefrom, no such change of any ordinance may be adopted except by a 2/3 vote of all members. This would be based on Mass General Law, Chapter 40A, Section 5. If in a city or town with a council of fewer than 25 members, there is filed with the clerk prior to final action by the council, a written protest against a zoning change under this section stating the reasons duly signed by 50% or more of the area of the land proposed to be included in such change, or of the area of the land immediately adjacent extending 300 feet therefrom, no change of any such ordinance shall be adopted except by a 2/3 vote of all members.
Okay. Back to my pages. Where are we on?
This is 68-22, 26, sorry.
68-26 has been given regular course with the same referrals, and we have a hearing date set for 8/24/26 at 6:35. All those in favor of the hearing date signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Thank you, Madam Chair, that was
Like the reading.
helpful to the clerk on her time back. All right, now we're going to move on to matters before the council. We have a financial report, Mr. Chairman.
We do. We do, Madam President. Starting with the free cash or excess and deficiency account, we began with a certification earlier this year of $13,089,104. Since then, we have appropriated or have on our calendar this evening to appropriate a total of $12,360,494, leaving a balance of $728,610. Regarding the opioid stabilization fund account, we began the fiscal year with a balance of $577,546, added interest of $4,587, appropriated in a payment from the state of $178,325 for a resulting balance of $760,457. We are appropriating, or have appropriated during the course of the fiscal year, $249,371 with a ending balance of $511,086. Regarding the capital stabilization fund account, we began the fiscal year with a balance of $4,593,192, added interest of $22,413, added a payment in toward a fire truck that will take about 4 years to get of $250,000 for a resulting balance of $4,865,605. Made a payment towards the police station of $2,261,190 with a resulting balance in the stabilization, the capital stabilization account of $2,604,415. Lastly, regarding the stabilization account, we began the fiscal year with a balance of $24,323,829, added interest of $800,894, transferred in from Keep Free Cash, and $3 million, we have scheduled to transfer in another $500,000. If that gets passed, that'll be a total addition of $4,300,894 for a resulting balance of $28,624,722. We have transferred out, since the beginning of the fiscal year, $2,991,902, leaving an ending balance of $25,632,820. And that is the financial report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Moving on to C-78. Are you ready to report?
I am. C-78, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests an appropriation of $25,000 to the city solicitor expense account, with the same amount be transferred from excess and deficiency. These funds will be used to pay bills for the remainder of the year. City solicitor's had a busy year with us here, and in general, so this money is necessary in order to meet our responsibilities to the city's legal counsel. We conducted a subcommittee meeting on June 3rd. Myself and Councilor Arndinger, the two of the members of the committee, were present. We voted unanimously 2-0 to adopt or to grant C-78. I don't know if the third member of the committee has any objection, but I'll check with her. Okay, so the unanimous recommendation, Madam President, is to grant C-78. I ask you to, I'm sorry, that's it. We're good. Just,
Okay.
is there any further discussion, I guess, at this point?
All right, yeah, is there any further discussion? You heard the recommendation from the committee. Any other comments or questions? If not, all those in favor of appropriate, request, yeah, I can't even read it either.
Granting, I
Tonight,
either.
supporting C-78. All those in favor signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Okay, does the chair have an order?
I do. Order the sum of $25,000 be appropriated to the city solicitor expense account, the same to be transferred from excess and deficiency. Move for the adoption of the order.
Okay, per the chair's recommendation, any questions or comments? If not, Councilor Cormier?
Yay.
Councilor Pauline Cormier?
Yay.
Councilor Odinger?
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy?
Yay.
Councilor Romero?
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr?
Yay.
Councilor Robbins?
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza?
Yay.
Now be recorded as yay. C-78 is passed by a vote of 9-0. C-79.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests an appropriation of $60,000 be made to the fire department expense account, the same to be transferred from excess and deficiency. Again, the committee members that were present on June 3rd voted 2-0. And does Councilor Shalfo Zephyr have any objection to
I do not.
C-79? Then our recommendation, Madam President, is unanimous.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of C-79 signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Okay, the chair have an order.
Yes, order that the sum of $60,000 be appropriated to the fire department expense account, same to be transferred from the excess and deficiency account. Move for the adoption of the order.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Councilor Cormier?
Yay.
Councilor Cormier?
Yay.
Councilor Odinger?
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy?
Yay.
Councilor Romero?
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr?
Yay.
Councilor Robbins?
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza? And
Yay.
I'll be recorded as yay. C-79 has been granted by a vote of 9-0. C-80.
C-80, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests an appropriation of $1,500,000 be made to the Fallbrook School Building Fund, same to be transferred from excess and deficiency. This transfer will help pay down the cost of constructing the new Fallbrook School. In talking with the comptroller, our contribution to that project could be, guessing at this point because there's no bids back, but someplace in the neighborhood of $60 million. Much of it will be handled by our borrowing capacity as well as the new meals tax option. The city is trying to cobble together before we go with the bond, some goal of about $10 million. The bond will be probably at least 3 to 4 years down the road before we go with the bond. So this is an initial payment towards that 10 million, sort of saving against this expense in the future and trying to pay down some of the debt service. Again, Councilor Ardner and I were in support of this on the 3rd, and unless Councilor Shalfo has any objection, we would be unanimous.
No, I don't have any objection.
Okay.
Okay,
So-
unanimous on C-80. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of supporting C-80 signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Vote 9-0. Chair have an order.
Order the sum of $1,500,000 be appropriated to the Fallbrook School Building Fund, same to be transferred from excess and deficiency. Move for the adoption of the order.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, Councilor Cormier?
Yay.
Councilor Cormier?
Yay.
Councilor Odinger?
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy?
Yay.
Councilor Romero?
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr?
Yay.
Councilor Robbins?
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza?
Yay.
And I'll be recorded as yay. C-80 is passed by a vote of 9-0. C-81.
C-81, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests the appropriation of $10,504 be made to the Fire Department Equipment Account, the same to be transferred from excess and deficiency account. This amount was received in the prior year when the fire department sold surplus equipment. This will allow the fire department to put this amount towards new equipment. So what happened, as the mayor indicates in the communication, they sold some equipment. It got closed out to the excess and deficiency account. The mayor wants to restore the money to the fire department to use for their equipment purposes. Councilor Odinger and I were in support of that, and unless Councilor Shalfo Zephyr has an objection, it would be unanimous.
No, as I said last week when I told you that I couldn't attend the meeting, if I had any questions or objections, I would let you know.
All right.
And I did not.
All right, so, and that would be true for the rest of the communications?
It is.
Okay, thank you very much for that.
And she's had the ability to watch it. Because we had it, that's why we have it recorded as well, so.
Yeah.
Okay, so you've heard the chair's recommendation. to support C81. Any questions or comments?
No.
If not, all those in favor signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Okay, C81 is passed by a vote of 9-0. Does the chair have an order?
Yes, order that the sum of $10,504 be appropriated to the fire department equipment account, same to be transferred from the excess and deficiency account. Move for the adoption of the order.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Odinger.
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy.
Yay.
Councilor Romero.
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yay.
Councilor Robbins.
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza.
Yay.
Now be recorded as yay. By a vote of 9-0, C81 is passed. C82.
C82, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests an appropriation of $85,000 be made to the fire department indemnification account, same to be transferred from the excess and deficiency account. This is to fund 111F medical benefits. Under the statute, the city, the workers' compensation coverage for city departments is handled a little differently than workers' compensation in the public realm. This is for medical strictly. The account needs this infusion to pay medical benefits to injured fire department workers. So it was unanimous position of the Finance Committee to grant C-82.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of C-83 signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Okay, C-83 is passed by a vote of 9-0. The chair have an order.
Yes, Madam President. In order that the sum of $85,000 be appropriated to the fire department indemnification accounts, the same to be transferred from excess and deficiency. Move for the adoption of the order.
All right, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Odinger.
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy.
Yay.
Councilor Romero.
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yay.
Councilor Robbins. Councilor Bedanza.
Yay.
Now be recorded as yay. By a vote of 9-0, C-82 is passed. C-83.
Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests an appropriation of $1,226,215.11 be made to the snow and ice account, the same amount to be transferred from the excess and deficiency. Snow and ice expenses, $988,189.92. Snow and ice overtime, $238,025.19, making up the total sum. We are permitted by statute to spend into deficit on snow and ice, provided that we appropriate at least as much money in the fiscal year as we did the prior fiscal year, which we have done. It's been the city's position to stay fluid, so to speak, with these types of appropriations and sort of, take a look at this at the end of the season when all the bills are in. It is unanimous position of the Finance Committee to grant C-83.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of C-83 signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? C-83 is passed by a vote of 9-0. Does the chair have an order?
Yes, Madam President, order that the sum of $1,226,215.11 be appropriated to the snow and ice account, same to be transferred from excess and deficiency. Move for the adoption of the order.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any other questions or comments? If not, Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Odinger.
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy.
Yay.
Councilor Romero.
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yay.
Councilor Robbins.
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza.
Yay.
Now be recorded as yay. C-83 is passed by a vote of 9-0. C-84.
C-84, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests the library building fund be accepted as a donation fund pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 44, Section 53A. The fund was established during the renovation of the library. However, it was not formally adopted by the council at that time. The account was subsequently brought onto the books of the city in 2018. The state has requested that the account now be formally adopted by the council as a donation fund. Originally, this money was held by the Community Foundation, which is a private entity, as indicated in the communication. The money did come onto city books, and the donation account was not established, but needs to be. It is the unanimous recommendation of the Finance Committee to grant C-84.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of C-84 signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Vote of 9-0. Does Chair have an order?
No order on that, I don't
No
believe.
order, okay. C-85.
C-85, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests an appropriation of $15,059 be made to the Police Department Attorney General Office Grant Fund, the same amount to be transferred from the excess and deficiency account. This is a reimbursement grant, and in prior years, the revenue for this account was put in the general fund instead of this fund creating a deficit. So this is a way to fix that error. It is a unanimous position of the Finance Committee to grant C-85.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation on C-85. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of C-85 signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? And no order on that either, right?
No, there's an order.
There is an order on that one?
Yeah. Order that the sum of $15,059 be appropriated to the Police Department Attorney General Office Grant Fund account, same to be transferred from excess and deficiency account. Move for the adoption of the order.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Odinger.
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy.
Yay.
Councilor Romero.
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yay.
Councilor Robbins.
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza.
Yay.
Now be recorded as yay. C-85 is passed by a vote of 9-0. C-86.
C-86, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests an appropriation of $100,000 be made to the Police Department Emergency Overtime Account, the same amount to be transferred from the excess and deficiency account. The mayor received a letter from the chief on May 19th. Over the last few months, our overtime budget has been depleted from investigations, court discovery, and contractual obligations for time off. He was forecasting at the time regarding his requirements for shift coverage that he would need an additional $100,000 to make it through the fiscal year. Finance Committee met on this, and it's our recommendation, unanimous recommendation, to grant C-86.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of C-86 signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? C-86 is passed by a vote of 9-0. Chair have an order.
Yes, ordered the sum of $100,000 be appropriated to the Police Department Emergency Overtime Account, the same amount to be transferred from the excess and deficiency account. Move for the adoption of the order.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Odinger.
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy.
Yay.
Councilor Romero.
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yay.
Councilor Robbins.
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza.
Yay.
Now be recorded as yea. C-86 is passed by a vote of 9-0. C-87.
C-87, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests an appropriation of $32,000 be made to the library's operating budget, the same amount to be transferred from the library's personnel budget. The savings are broken down: librarians, $15,000, part-time workers, $15,000, clerks, $2,000, for a total of $32,000. Library is simply moving from the surplus side to the more, to the other side of the budget, the operating budget, where the funds are needed. It is the position of the Finance Committee unanimously to grant C-87.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation on C-87. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? C-87 is passed by a vote of 9-0. Does the chair have an order?
Yes, order the sum of $32,000 be appropriated to the library's operating budget, same amount to be transferred from the library's personnel budget. Move for the adoption of the order.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Odinger.
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy.
Yay.
Councilor Romero.
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yay.
Councilor Robbins.
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza.
Yay.
Now be recorded as yay. C-87 is passed by a vote of 9-0. C-88.
C-88, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests an appropriation of $1,140,000 be made to the school transportation account, the same to be transferred from the excess and deficiency account, regarding additional bus services were needed throughout the year to meet state requirements. We budgeted this in the last fiscal year at $6 million. Obviously, we didn't meet the budget estimate. The total cost for the fiscal year was $7,140,000. The mayor alludes to they added 2 bus routes, so ergo 2 new buses. We just didn't estimate very well this year. There have been years where we have actually gotten a surplus, but not so lucky this year. So we really don't have much of a choice but to meet this obligation. It is the Finance Committee's unanimous recommendation to grant C-88.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? C-88 is passed by a vote of 9-0. Does the chair have an order?
I do, Madam President. Order that the sum of $1,140,000 be appropriated to the school transportation account, the same amount to be transferred from the excess and deficiency account. Move for the adoption of the order.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, Councilor Cormier?
Yay.
Councilor Cormier?
Yay.
Councilor Odinger?
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy?
Yay.
Councilor Romero?
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr?
Yay.
Councilor Robbins?
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza?
Yay.
Now be recorded as yay. C-88 is passed by a vote of 9-0. I know you don't want to get to the last one. You're enjoying this, but
Yeah, I
we're
know,
at the
it's
last one,
horrible.
C-89.
C-89, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor,
Sorry.
request an appropriation of $18,000 be made to the Gallagher Building Fund. The funds will be used to pay for additional energy upgrades for the Gallagher Building, utilizing energy incentives while they're still available. These monies will be spent out of the Gallagher Building Revolving Fund. Any excess funds will remain there. This is to install new VFD controls, which I guess better monitor the need for HVAC for the building and will result in additional savings. So it's a good investment to make. If, like, as the mayor indicates, it comes in less than that, the money will just stay where it came from. So the unanimous position of the Finance Committee, Madam President, was to grant C-89.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, all those in favor signify in the usual manner. Those opposed? Order 9-0. The chair have an order.
Order the sum of $18,000 be appropriated to the Gallagher Building Fund, same to be transferred from the Gallagher Building Revolving Fund. Move for the adoption of the order.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Any questions or comments? If not, Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Odinger.
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy.
Yay.
Councilor Romero.
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yay.
Councilor Robbins.
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza.
I think I'll vote yea, too.
And I will be recorded as yea by a vote of 9-0. C-89 is granted. And thank you, both Legal Affairs and Finance. You had a lot on your plate this time around, so thank you for that.
You're welcome, Madam President.
Moving on to city property. Is the chair ready to report?
Yes, thank you, Madam President. C-64, Dean J. Mazzarella, Mayor, requests that the property known to the assessors as MAP 28, Lot 12, and located on Church Street, former police station, to be declared surplus so that we can proceed to sell it through the purchasing department by bid. The city property committee met and had a subcommittee meeting on June 3rd. We had a discussion and unanimously voted to approve this request to declare it surplus so that it can be sold through the purchasing department.
Okay, you've heard the chair's recommendation. Are there any questions or comments? Madam Chair, Vice Chair, would you take the chair for a moment, please?
Certainly.
All right. Well, actually, no, we have to vote on the recommendation first, and then we'll have a discussion. Okay, all those in favor of the chair's recommendation? Signify in usual manner? Okay, any discussion?
Wait.
I should have done that
Well, that's the
beforehand.
recommendation. We
but-
do the discussion, then we
Yeah,
vote.
the discussion first, yeah.
For a second.
Okay. All right, now, okay.
Certainly.
All right. Yeah, I just, to the chair, through the chair, I'm not gonna support this tonight, and I understand, the rationale. I mean, I looked at the appraisal. I just feel $40,000 is, not a lot of money, and for $40,000, that piece of land that's between our fire department and the parking garage, I mean, that's all our property. And I just feel like in the middle, if there ever needs to be an expansion of the fire department, or we need to build a garage for additional fire trucks or whatever, that for $40,000, we should probably hang on to it. That's my only reason for not being supportive of this tonight, but that's my position on that.
Madam Chair, can I just add an additional piece from the assessor's office as well? I just, thank you for that input. I just wanted to, make the council aware that I did reach out to the assessor's office as well about this property. And the response was that they are in agreement with the appraisal. It sat on the open market for a year at $100,000 with little to no interest, and that is the best determination of its current value. It says if the property sold for redevelopment, the city would benefit from the increased tax revenue, and that they would recommend the city avoid any exempt entity if possible. And prior to the reduction of assessed value, the property was assessed at $2,471,600. The right investor could bring the value back to where it was, if not increase the assessed value. So I did want to share that information as well.
All set? Counselor Romero, does anybody else have any questions or concerns? Okay, seeing none, we voted, so I'm going to turn it back over to you.
All right, you call for the vote?
Okay, all those in favor of granting C-64, please recognize in the usual manner. And I will be a yay, so that'll be 8-1.
Thank you, Madam Vice Chair. Moving on to Ways and Means. Is the chair ready to report?
There is nothing
Oh,
under Ways
I'm
and
sorry.
Means tonight.
It's a quick report.
Yeah, very quick.
All right, I was looking for something on the next page. All right, moving on to Legal Affairs.
Thank you, Madam President. This is 48-26, Brooks Pond Realty Trust and Brooks Pond 2 Realty Trust. Request to amend the zoning ordinance and the zoning map of the city of Leominster, Massachusetts to change the boundaries of the zoning districts shown on the zoning map so that the following identified parcels shall all be located entirely in the Residence RC district. 1030 Central Street, 980 Central Street, 15 Brooks Pond Road, 4 Brooks Pond Road, 16 Brooks Pond Road, 20 Brooks Pond Road. So we had a public hearing this evening. Mr. Bevenzi joined us for the public hearing this evening. He provided some information, and I understand that there was some perhaps questions about the reasoning behind it. I think Mr. Bevenzi has the right thing in mind. I think this is more of a housekeeping, this is my opinion, that it's more of a housekeeping issue than it is than making any kind of amendment to the zoning that's going to affect that area. In fact, I believe by amending it down, it actually, there's less of a chance that anything commercial would be developed there right on Central Street. It's not in his best interest, not in the best interest of the people that reside at Brooks Pond. Having said that, I know one of the questions that came up was the fact that the building inspector was not present. I will tell you that I reached out to the building inspector and did not hear back. So, having said that, it would be my position to grant 48-26, and I'd ask you to check with members of my committee.
Okay, Councilor Cormier,
I agree.
Councilor Romero.
I am in opposition, just without the information really in clarity from the building inspector. I will vote in opposition to this.
Okay, so you have a unanimous decision?
No, we have a 2-1 recommendation.
Yes.
Recommendation to grant 48-26.
Discussion?
Huh?
Discussion?
Yeah, discussion.
Okay.
Councilor Cormier.
Thank you, Madam President. I listened to the explanation this evening, and to me, I think that this change to the zoning makes sense. There's got to be, 50-something acres of land behind there, and we're just going to have these few acres at best match what's behind there. And also, there's other apartments there in the vicinity. So I think that to make the zoning match, it just makes sense. And also, it allows him a little bit more flexibility with what he wants to do there, so that if he wants to offer services for certain types of things for people that live within his development, he can offer those and not have to be a full-fledged assisted living facility. So to me, it just makes sense, and I will support 48-26. Thank you.
Councilor Bonanza.
Thank you. Well, I support it for a variety of reasons. First of all, it conforms with what's there. I mean, it's fully built out. It's residentially, it's multifamily residential. There's no commercial on any of those parcels. So it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to continue commercial zoning there. Typically, zoning abhors having non-conforming uses or definitions or maps that don't jive with what's on the ground there. So it's, I guess, an accident of history the way it developed, but it doesn't make a whole lot of sense in my view. In addition, there's this the zoning, it's clear that the bill, I'll take Mr. Bovenzi for his word, the building inspector requested it. There's some kind of a question regarding the potential conflict between assisted living as defined by the Leominster zoning law, which is different from assisted living as defined by the state law, and whether, if that's commercial, whether there's going to be some kind of requirement that that you can't give just partial services like are being offered now, and you need to be more robust and comply with the state law. That's a question for me that I don't think we want to go down that slippery slope if we don't have to. And quite frankly, the ward councilor supports it. That means a lot to me, as it should. And I would be supportive of this. I see no reason not to be.
Councilor Robbins.
Thank you, Madam President. As I said during the public hearing earlier this evening, I admire what Mr. Pavenzi is trying to do down at Brooks Pond. I think, all of us can clearly see that he has done a phenomenal job with all the work that he's already done. I think, as the Ward 1 councilor said before me, though, I still have some outstanding questions that I would appreciate answers on from the building inspector. In addition to, just his thoughts on why this change and why now, also, I also think that the use or the definition of assisted living is kind of being used in a very loose way with regard to this. So I think that's some cleanup that we and the planning board may need to look at, especially with regard to the comments that have been made about the assisted about assisted living definition that the state has. So kind of with all of that in mind, I would prefer further time so that we could get that information, but if the recommendation is to move forward tonight, I'm going to be in opposition.
Thank you, Councilor. Councilor Shalfo-Zephyr.
Yeah, thank you very much. I share a lot of the comments that have already been made by the Ward 1 council and by the council at large to my left. I will, however, and I want to be on the record for this, this is not a knock on the work that's being done down at Brooks Pond. It's not a knock on the vision I think Mr. Bovenzi laid out here about what he wants to do in providing very important services to our changing and expanding population. So I don't have any problem with that. I do have questions about changing the zoning. The buildings are built, they're not going to change. The services are being provided, that's not going to change. The building inspector wanted the zoning change made, but he's not here and he hasn't responded to our request for a referral, either in person or in writing. In person would be better because we could ask questions and clarify things for ourselves. So I also think further time would be a good thing. I would support that, but at this point, if it is to, a yay vote on this, I will not be supporting it.
Thank you. Councilor Noseworthy.
Thank you, Madam President. I also would not be in support of changing zoning. I also would much rather have further time or time to have the building inspector come down. I also do want to say that Mr. Bavenzi has a very admirable mission, and I think what he's doing is phenomenal. And it's really, making a huge contribution to our community. I'll add that, I always want to vote to make sure that all petitions are treated the same. And quite honestly, to say that the building inspector doesn't have to come down for one and we take people's perspectives and things, I just want to make sure that the way that I'm going to proceed is that everybody that we've asked for information for, that they just simply bring it back. I would rather further time to just have that information because I could see myself passing this. But if it goes forward today as is, it's not something that I can support.
Madam Chair? Madam Chairwoman?
Yes.
It would be me, I think.
Well, I was going to ask her if she would reconsider their
Well,
recommendation.
I was gonna say, when everybody was done talking.
Sorry about that.
We need a 2/3 vote. So we need 6 votes tonight, so that I'm gonna send it back to you to see what your thought is.
Listen, certainly if people want further time, I can support further time. We can reach out to the building inspector again. But even if we have the building inspector down, I think Councilor Bedanza makes a good point. It's just cleaning up what should have been done properly to begin with. But if there's enough members of the city council that want to have further time, I would consider changing my recommendation to further time, and I'd ask you to check with the other.
Well,
Would you take the chair again, please, for
Certainly.
a moment? I'm in support of this. I happen to be there from the very beginning, when in an entire neighborhood, every single house came to this council on that whole area, to support the zoning to allow that project to begin initially. And things that were said at that time have progressed. It's been 15 years later, and I know what the vision was, what the plan was, and what some of the, to be able to have a doctor on site as needed without having a doctor there or a nurse there or a dietitian or whatever. I don't see it as a huge issue. I don't know that, we've got a couple of other petitions on here tonight that I don't think we have recommendations from the building inspector either. So it's gonna be interesting what happens when we get to further down on the agenda. And if that, and if that's the case, I think certainly that's what we want to do. And I'll go back to you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Madam President. Yeah, as I said, if I'd ask you, I would consider giving it further time. Councilor Cormier, do you have any?
well, we can give it further time, but how do we accept new testimony? We've closed the public hearing. You can't keep accepting new testimony and changing to change your mind on how you feel about this. So it's, we can't, what are you going to infuse into the conversation besides a subcommittee of legal affairs we could have a subcommittee meeting and give our recommendation based on what's already been presented, but we can't accept new testimony. We've closed the public hearing.
Good point. Counselor Edinger?
You know, as a member of the generation that may be looking at Brooks Pond, you know, in the near future, I see a lot of dangers to the people moving in there and wanting to moving in there, because the difference between the Brooks Pond as it costs right now and what it would cost if the regulation was changed by the state and forced to go up would prohibit a lot of people in Leominster from being able to move into Brooks Pond. So I would certainly support this. I think it's just it's a great idea. It closes a loophole that could, the word could is, you know, come down the road, but why take a chance? Why not just clean it up, make it straight, and vote on it and get it approved right now?
Can I?
Certainly.
Madam Chair. So the petitioner himself has indicated, it's still not even clear to him exactly why. He assumes the building inspector, he knows why the building inspector is making this request, but really he's already operating the services, you know, that are in place with the current zoning he has, but maybe it aligns with the state. There's still this level of uncertainty. So, I mean, do we need a legal opinion from, you know, from our attorney on this, so that we can actually, we're not making any assumptions, we're actually having the facts presented to us as to why this petitioner, no one is questioning the project, the services that he's delivering, his vision for supporting our community, our elder community. It is about the recommendation from the building department not being clear, and again, even the petitioner kind of questioning, not having 100% certainty on that. And we don't have a legal opinion again, and we're making an assumption that the building inspector is making a recommendation so that if he were to provide services in the future, something that's like hypothetical, I don't want to deal in hypotheticals. I like to have the facts presented and be able to vote on facts. So that's why I am taking this position. It's nothing against this project, nothing against what the vision is. It is about the uncertainty, and I really don't want to make assumptions as to what the building inspector is thinking and why he's making this recommendation. I would very much like to hear from him.
Okay, but at this point, that the public hearing is closed, so we can't take any new testimony, it can't get referred out. Councilor Bedanza?
So I don't think you're going to get any certainty on this issue. I just don't think that's there. So my point is this. The property is being used for multifamily housing. The request is to zone it to Residence C, which reflects what's going on the property. What is the harm? What is the suspicion? What is the problem? I mean, all we're doing is rezoning it to conform with what's already on the ground there without any real opportunity. What else is going to happen there? They're not going to. There's nothing else to build there. It's all built out. And it's Residence C. So I don't understand what the problem is. If there's some ambiguity between the definitions of assisted living on the state side and on the city side, who knows what the building inspector is thinking? I don't know. But I don't think you're ever going to get concrete, wait a minute, if you leave it commercial, you jeopardize the potential for what Mr. Bovenzi's doing. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Maybe it just doesn't even matter, okay? Because all that's happening is we're going to rezone the property to comply or to match what's on the ground there. And generally, in zoning, that's a good idea, okay? I hate to say it, but I've served on zoning committees. That's what you do. And when there's map changes, you know, they try to change the map to reflect what was built there, if it's appropriate. Seems appropriate to me. There's 50-something acres of land there that's zoned Residence C with the same property, with the same housing. We're just taking a strip in the front where there are multifamily houses existing right now and making it all one big Residence C zone. I think it's pretty simple.
Councilor Edinger?
Just to help me understand, if we don't accept this tonight, we don't grant this tonight, then Mr. Bovenzi can go ahead, as he's planning, nothing that we're gonna do is just change that development, right?
No,
I mean,
it's gonna
already
continue
there.
as a commercial zone.
It's already there. So why are we, I guess, drawing at, you know, hypotheticals when, is not gonna affect, he's got the right to do it. It's just cleaning up the process so that it's straightforward and it complies with whatever's there already. I don't understand why there's much opposition to it.
Well, I don't understand it either, but, look, if it was the other way around, I'd recommend the opposite. I mean, if that was all commercially built out and it was zoned residency, it would make more sense to zone it commercial. But that's not what's happening here. So, I don't know. I don't, like I said, I don't see a problem with it. I don't understand what the danger is. If somebody could explain that to me, I'd appreciate it, honestly.
Counselor Robbins?
I don't mean to belabor the point, but I'm asking the same question Counselor Arndinger is from the flip side of it to understand why we need to change it if everything is kosher. It's already operating under the current zoning. Why do we need to change it?
Quite honestly, the fact that there's a residential property development there and it's zoned commercial isn't kosher, just by itself.
Well,
then how would-
doesn't that lead to a question of how that happened?
Well, I suppose it happened because there were permits that were granted, obviously, because they got built. So, but, generally speaking, you want the underlying zone to reflect what's on it, what's on the property. I mean, we have prior non-conforming uses all over the city, but, and I'm not suggesting that's a prior non-conforming use, but the point is why not, when we had the zoning committee back in 2012, we changed maps. And, there were a lot of people down here for map changes, and we tried to make changes to those maps that were in conformity with what was on that property developed over many years. And that's the goal. So I don't see where that's really any different than this.
Anything further? Madam President, my recommendation remains the same. I'd ask you to ask the members of my committee.
That would, you still have to do that because I gave up my chair, so you have to
Okay.
follow it to the vote.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Counselor Cormier?
I still agree to grant 48-26.
Counselor Marrow?
For clarification purposes, if this is not granted, he's gonna continue operating the same services, the same way, under the current zoning. Is that correct? Do I understand
Yes.
that correctly?
Yes.
Okay, so, I don't see the point in changing this. So,
Okay, then I guess the recommendation is 2-1 to grant this petition, and I will ask for a vote.
I'd like to add one additional point, if I could, Madam Chair.
Certainly.
To that last question, because it was the subject of the discussion. And I think the question that I asked the petitioner was that there's a difference between the services that he's providing to his residents versus what would be traditionally provided to the residents if it was in fact a state-defined assisted living residence. And what I got out of this, for me, and I agree, it's unfortunate the building inspector isn't here. But what I get out of it is the building inspector felt that it'd be a cleaner situation. Because he requested this, and I have to take Mr. Bovenzi at his word, that it be zoned residency as opposed to commercial in case there was some discrepancy between what Mr. Bovenzi was providing for services versus what were required under the state rules for assisted living. And that was what prompted all of this that's before us right now. So to say that he will continue the way he is, probably true, maybe true, definitely true, I'm not sure. Because of what the building inspector did or said or requested, which is make it cleaner so that it's clearly within the parameters of the local assisted living definition as opposed to the state assisted living definition. So I'd put a little footnote on the answer to that question.
Madam President.
We didn't read this into when we were talking about 48-26, but maybe this needs to be said because it shows how minimal we're talking about. 1030 Central Street is .55 acres. 980 Central Street is .87 acres. 15 Brooks Pond Road is 1.59 acres. 4 Brooks Pond Road is .85 acres. 16 Brooks Pond Road is 1.13 acres. And 20 Brooks Pond Road is .50 acres. So adding those up is a real minimal amount of change compared to the overall project of 50 acres. So, I mean, he's not asking for a lot. I mean, it clearly defines the fact that he's just trying to conform everything to one residence, rather than have a half acre here, a half acre there, half acre here, half acre there, and have it all the same so the entire project is zoned the same way.
This is probably about two, just through the chairs, this is probably about 2%, if that, of the
Yep.
entire parcel of land, when you combine them all together. Probably, if not even that.
Madam President, can I return the chair to you?
I'm not trying to pass you off, but I gave up my chair.
Just, in conclusion, I think I don't know how to say it, but I think we're just trying to put something together that, changing this is not going to make a big effect. It prevents potential problems in the future. And for someone that may be looking at Brooks Pond very soon, I don't want to be that person that has to suffer if we get changed to the state's recognition. I couldn't afford to live there if it was declared by the state's recommendations. So I think I'm going to implore the people that are holding back to vote for this to let's just clean it up and make the vote, make it clean and make it happen right now here tonight.
I'm just going to reiterate, and I don't remember who said it, but the comment was made in the discussion that we have to be in conformity. We can't have one petition where we're talking about having the building inspector's opinion and another one we're not having it. Keep in mind that I don't believe we have a building inspector's recommendation on others that we're going to be looking at tonight, which if somebody wants to have it conformed on this council tonight, then we're looking at something else that requires zoning that doesn't have the building inspector's recommendation as well.
So, Madam President, can I just respond to that? So,
It would be to.
oh, I'm sorry,
Romero.
I
No, that's
apologize.
fine.
So,
I'm confused too.
so and I'm like, oh, that's right, she gave up her chair. So, the difference between this petition and the others is that the building inspector actually told him to come do this. This was the building inspector's recommendation. And with all due respect, I don't want to disrespect him, but we have a building on Central Street that didn't even go through the entire process that was erected because of some oversight. I would like to hear from him directly. I don't want to make assumptions as to why he's telling a petitioner to come here to do something. That's all I want to make sure that all the i's are dots and t's are crossed.
Okay,
So,
then,
just-
Councilor Cormier.
I agree. We can hear from, we could have heard from the building inspector, but we didn't. And it's not why I'm gonna make this petitioner suffer. The bottom line is, we're making a very small fraction of this entire area conforming with the rest of it. And honestly, I don't really care what the building inspector says. I don't even listen to half of what he says, okay? I mean, it don't make any sense to me anyway. we'd probably have more questions than answers from him anyway. So I'm not gonna make somebody who's trying to do good in the community suffer because of our building inspector.
And again, to clarify, we can't take that testimony from the building inspector.
What if he's right? Ever come to that conclusion? What if he's right? And
Then
he's perfect.
it would have been great for him to submit that, but given, out of respect for Mr. Bavenzi, out of respect for his time, this project, as you said, there's nothing we can't, we can't move forward. We can't reopen this. We can't have the building inspector provide his input at this point. I will amend my vote to allow for this, again, out of respect for him, given that I'm being told that there's minimal changes that are going to take place for this project. But I want to just voice that I hope moving forward, this is not the process by which we do things. If the building inspector is sending a petitioner here, that the building inspector either accompany that petitioner or provide a written statement relative to why he's making a recommendation, to ensure that that recommendation is actually adequate and that it's legal and it's the right one.
I support that as well.
Councilor Robbins?
I just want to additionally add, because it's been said multiple times now, again, the difference with this petition is the fact that I still have questions that I could have asked the building inspector. I understand we cannot at this juncture, but if we could, I would have liked to. That's the only reason I feel like he should have come.
Councilor, yeah, that's something I think we have to address. Councilor Cormier kind of alluded to it, is that our building inspector, I don't know how to put it, I don't want to disparage the guy.
It's not anything you're gonna be able to say that's gonna come out right, so probably be better.
It's not gonna be, it's not a long-term problem.
He is the man in the position, so
Yeah.
he's the person we have to ask. That has not been able to be my decision.
Yeah, but
Well-
regarding the upcoming petitions, suppose he doesn't show up for that. What do we do then?
I don't have questions for him on the upcoming petition on the agenda. That was my point.
It's not a long-term problem.
Yeah.
I understand, I understand, never mind, I won't go there.
Okay, are we good with the discussion?
I'm gonna move the question.
Move the
Let's
question.
I'm gonna move the
We
question.
gotta take a vote to move the question.
All those in favor of moving the question, please indicate in the regular manner. Okay, so we're going to move the question. So we have a unanimous recommendation by the Legal Affairs Committee to grant petition 48-26. This will be by roll call. Counselor Arndinger.
Yay.
Counselor Noseworthy.
Nay.
Counselor Romero.
Yay.
Counselor Shalfo Zephyr.
Nay.
Counselor Robbins.
Nay.
Counselor Bedanza.
Yay,
Council President Frida.
Yay.
Counselor Cormier.
Yay.
And I shall be recorded as a yay, so by a vote of 6-3, the 48-26 passes. Madam President, now can you take the chair back?
please,
Thank you.
please.
Thank you,
Begging
Madam
you.
Vice Chair. Thank you for doing that. That was, all right, 50-26. You ready for this one?
Recusing myself, sorry.
Yes,
Counselor Romero is abstaining.
and Madam President, the Spanish American Center requests to amend the zoning ordinance of the City of Leominster, Massachusetts to change the boundaries of the zoning district shown on the zoning map so that the parcel identified as Parcel 2 on Assessor's Map 39 containing approximately 0.23 acres according to said map and having an address of 132 Fifth Street, First Street, shall be located entirely in the Business B district. Again, we had a public hearing this evening. We had members, including our legend, Nettie Latimer was present this evening. And it goes without saying, I think we've all said it this evening, that they provide vital services and done a tremendous job in the city. I will just point out that the same recommendation and the same request went out to the building inspector in this matter as well. Good. With the same outcome. So, Madam President, it would be my recommendation to grant 50-26, and I'd ask you to check with the other member of my committee.
Okay, Councilor Cormier.
I agree.
All right, we have a unanimous decision, a recommendation out of the Legal Affairs Committee. Is there any comment? Councilor Cormier.
Just very briefly, I just want to thank, the Spanish American Center for everything they do. They, take care of the most vulnerable, and I think that this zoning change will help them to accomplish that mission. And, once again, I thank the mayor for his, thoughts and, just making sure that we were thinking everything out. That would have been a concern of mine as well, that, there's a lot of things that can be done in a business B that, can't be done, in another district. So, but this change is so minimal with such a very small piece of land that, I don't think this is ever gonna change the landscape of the area if the Spanish American Center, for whatever reason, one day, failed to thrive or be there in any way, shape, or form. So I support 50-26 wholeheartedly.
Councilor Bedanza.
Thank you, Madam President. I agree with the Ward 3 counselor. I did take note of the mayor's sort of warning, so to speak, that if the Spanish American Center moves off that property, then you have a business B zone with a whole range of possibilities. But as the Ward 3 council indicates, we're talking about less than 80 feet of frontage with a structure on it to boot. So, what would be economically viable on that parcel is pretty limited based on its size. So I'm willing to take the risk against the reward. I think the risk is small compared to the reward to an organization that does one heck of a job. I mean, Nettie is, sort of Leominster's Mother Teresa, if you will. I mean, she really is an amazing lady. So I'll be supportive of this.
Councilor Robbins.
Just really quickly, as somebody who has had the pleasure of taking that hard hat tour not too long ago, when the new CEO of the Worcester County Food Bank came out to visit the area, I think it's a great thing, both for the people that the Spanish American Center serves, but even more so the people that work there and the volunteers, that they'll be able to move the food pantry out of the basement where you can't even stand up straight into a much bigger and better space. So I'll definitely support this.
Okay, any other questions or comments? If not, this will be a roll call vote. Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Cormier.
Yay.
Councilor Arndt.
Yay.
Councilor Noseworthy.
Yay.
Councilor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yay.
Councilor Robbins.
Yay.
Councilor Bedanza.
Yay.
Now will be recorded as yay as well, by a vote of 8-0 with one abstention. 50-26 has passed. 56-26, Madam Chair, are you ready?
Thank you, Madam President. 56-26, Brandon Robbins, Counselor at Law, is requesting amending Section 13-77, stop signs by inserting Linda Street northwestbound drivers at Lincoln Street. Again, we had a public hearing on that this evening. We had positive recommendations from both the DPW and the traffic officer of the police department. It would be my position to grant 56-26, and I'd ask you to check with members of my committee.
Okay, Councilor Cormier.
Yay. I
Council-
agree. Yeah. Sorry. It's been a long night. I'm ready to get out.
Councilor Romero.
I agree.
Okay, we have a unanimous recommendation of Legal Affairs for 56-26. Are there any other questions or comments? If
Stop
not-
signs are refreshing.
Yeah, I agree. I don't have any in Ward 3. I took care of all of them, as you know.
Yeah, we went through those
We know.
already. Okay, all those in favor, we'll do a roll call. Counselor Cormier.
Yay.
Counselor Cormier.
Yay.
Counselor Arndr.
Yay.
Counselor Noseworthy.
Yay.
Counselor Romero.
Yay.
Counselor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yay.
Counselor Robbins.
Yay.
Counselor Bedanza.
Yay.
Now be recorded as yea as well. 56-26 passed by a vote of 9-0. 58-26, Madam
Thank-
Chair.
Thank you, Madam President. 58-26, Susan Shalfo Zephyr, Counselor at Large, and Brandon Robbins, Counselor at Large, petition to place no parking signs at the top of the rear driveway at 52 Mechanic Street. Again, public hearing this morning. Feels like it.
Seems like it.
This evening. We had positive recommendations from both the traffic officer at the police department and the DPW. It would be my position to grant 58-26, and I'd ask you to check with members of my committee.
Okay, Counselor Cormier.
I agree.
Counselor Romero.
I agree.
Okay, got a unanimous recommendation out of the Legal Affairs Committee. Any questions or comments? If not, Counselor Cormier.
Yay.
Counselor Cormier.
Yay.
Counselor Arndr.
Yay.
Counselor Noseworthy.
Yay.
Counselor Romero.
Yay.
Counselor Shalfo Zephyr.
Yay.
Counselor Robbins.
Yay.
Counselor Bedanza.
Yay.
That will be recorded as yay as well. The last page is coming up. Public Service Committee, is the chair ready to report?
Motion
Yeah,
to waive the
waive the
reading.
reading.
Yes.
Thank you. I was going to ask that. Yes, Madam President. So for petition 57-26, earlier this evening, we also had a public hearing. We had a representative from National Grid come and talk a little bit about the project. There was no one to speak in opposition to the project, and I read the email from the mayor into the record to support this project, and we closed the public hearing. So it would be my recommendation that we move forward and approve this petition, and I ask you check with the members of my committee.
I agree.
Agreed.
Okay, and just because people might have not be tuned in earlier, this is just for the electric company to do work on the parking lot for Manus Brook, so we can get those businesses back up with some of their parking. So it was important to get this done. Thank the chair for moving quickly on it. So we heard the recommendation. Any other questions or comments? If not, all those in favor of 57-26 signify in usual manner. Vote of 9-0. 57-26 has been granted. Any new business to come before us? Okay, I just want to say a couple of minor things, won't take long. As a council, I know we all express our condolences to little Hattie B. For a 7-year-old to fill St. Cecilia's Church with people who respected her, Councilor Cormier and Vice President Cormier and myself were there, and it was remarkable the amount of people that were there. It's a credit to her family and the respect that both family, the De Benedetto family and Boucher family have in the community. So we express our condolences to the family on that.
Could I propose a moment of silence, Madam President?
Pardon me?
Could I propose a moment of silence?
Absolutely, you took the words right out of my mouth. Do you want to wait till Councilor
Yeah,
Cormier gets back?
why don't we do that?
Let me just go to the next, I was just going to talk about Charlie Valera, who comes from Leominster, is moved to Florida, but wrote a book on my father's war, and had a special screening for his documentary on Saturday, which had 2 theaters full, over 200 people. It was remarkable, with a 101-year-old veteran from that war that, was there to see the film. So credits to Charlie Valera, and also to John Cahill, one of our Leominster Vietnam veterans who went to Normandy to accompany some of the World War II veterans to go to the shores of Normandy for D-Day to help them. So credits to John Cahill as well. And to the graduates on a beautiful graduation and success to all of them and their families. And just a reminder that firefighter Sunday is the 14th, 8 o'clock, I believe, at the fire station. And Councilor Cormier is back. Councilor Bedanza has proposed a moment of silence for Hattie B. So if you'll all join me. Thank you, everyone. Any old business? Did you have your hand up?
No, I'll just say something on the community calendar really
Oh,
quick
yep,
when we get
all right,
there.
up to community calendar now.
Okay, thank you very much. Obviously, there's a lot going on in Leominster. I'm not gonna try to start listing it all, but I know they put out a newsletter that I think it's entitled Leominster, it's what's happening in Leominster. But we have many things going on, from the summer stroll to the French Canadian Festival and so many other things. So, you know, for people that are looking for something to do but don't want to break the bank, there's going to be plenty going on, and hopefully the weather will cooperate, and people in Leominster can find a lot of entertainment. That's all I want to say.
Okay, just real quick too, well, Councilor Shalfo Zephyr isn't gonna be here, but, you can fill her in on it. The clerk wants to talk to us as well about a proposal she has regarding, zoning, voting. Do you wanna talk a little bit about it now?
Sure. I want to have an informational meeting with all of you before I put it out to the public. I'm gonna have an informational meeting with the public as well, to change 2 precincts, not wards, precincts. I want to change 5C, which is in the church across the street, into this building, an auditorium, so there, A, B, and C are all together. And to change 4A, which is currently in the senior center, to put it in the veterans center so that all of them are together. I have all the reasons why I think it's great and would like to know from all of you what you think, yay, nay, or otherwise, before I put it out to the public. Because it does need to be voted on the council in order for it to change. If y'all decide collectively that it's not going to be changed, I will not have an informational meeting, we'll leave it the way it is. Yes.
My only question would be, can those locations accommodate, you
Yes.
know, the additional influx? Because, I mean, I voted here at City Hall for a long, long time. I don't any longer, but, I mean, the auditorium was usually pretty crowded, you know, at certain times. So fitting in a 3rd precinct, the same thing up at the Veterans. I mean, now I vote at the Veterans, so it's it's not like, I mean, the Eagles and Skyview, those are huge places. So, I mean, if you can, you know, run the numbers and provide that kind of information.
That was my first question when she asked me, so I think you did,
We
you did look into that,
yes, and
right?
I also have worked with Joe Poirier, who,
Good.
he actually set, him and
He
his crew
sets it
actually
up.
set up for my elections.
Good.
And he's amazing. He has helped me figure
He
it out.
is. Yeah, he is.
So I want to present all of that to you.
Okay,
at this
well, you can,
meeting.
if I am away and can't make the meeting, to just send me the information,
I
and I'll get back
absolutely
to you
will.
with questions.
Yes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So I'm gonna propose that she do it the same, just before or just after your
So
subcommittee meeting.
On the 16th.
Just maybe, I don't know, is 4:45 too early for everybody?
So the whole council has to be here then?
Yes.
Well, if you want.
Are you
If-
expecting us to take the vote to change it on the same night, or?
No.
it's gotta-
No.
That's what I thought.
We have to
No.
do
I
it
just
at
wanted
council
to-
meeting.
No,
Just
there will
wanna
not
make
be a vote. It's just to give you some information and see if this moves forward or it doesn't move forward.
And if everybody's okay with it on the 16th, we'll put it on the next agenda.
All right.
Do I have a motion to adjourn? Councilor Chavez
You have many motions.
and Councilor Pauline Cormier. Thank you, everyone. It was a
Thank
long
you.
night, but a lot accomplished.